Hello. Hi, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to this REBBRL College playoff preview, end of season review sort of thing. We don't really have super good playoff details yet because there's still games that have yet to be played, but we can certainly comment on that and we'll take a good look at how the teams in college are shaping up after basically 9 weeks of play. There's some matches that haven't been played yet, but we can still see what has happened so far.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Um, I'm Steakmittens, and over there is Shadorra.
Hey, hey.
We were both college coaches last season, currently playing in minors, planning on going to majors next season. Um, but you've probably seen us around for various things.
If you haven't seen me, I have concerns.
Yeah, that's true. Um, so, we were planning on having Squiggy here, but he is currently not available. He's got some stuff going on, sadly. But if he can join us halfway through, then we'll get him in here, certainly. But as of now, it's going to be the two of us, so I hope that you're okay with that. Um,
You literally have no say in the matter. So
yeah, that's true. This is my stream. Go home if you don't like it. So let's jump into the game, I guess, or into Blood Bowl and get started here, I suppose.
yeah,
Uh,
that sounds good.
I need to adjust your camera a little bit in game because the
I can like pan it down if you want it so that the
no, it's fine. I just need to it's me. I need to change the size of your camera because I messed up my screen cap thing earlier. Should be good now.
it is cutting off my chin rather spectacularly.
I mean, you adjust the camera how you want. I needed to adjust the window in game. So this is College League Season 5, or we'll start at the other end this time in the multi-region melting pot because we started at the other end the first time when we did this after like week 5. Do you want to go? If we take a look at the leaderboard here, I guess. Well,
Yeah,
first
that's a
let's look
good
at the
place to start.
schedule. There's one game that's been played so far in this division between Blacklisters Union and Iron Maiden covers. So take that into account when we take a look at the leaderboard. Although Blacklisters Union is currently in third with all of their games played, so they're not likely to move forward ahead of B-Wiz, coached by Helgen, or Winged Centaurs by Aussie Viking, who are currently 1 and 2. Although Fork Tons hasn't played yet, so they could go to 5-2 and 2, which is not. But and then we'll have to see what happens with the Skaven and Chaos Dwarf teams because they haven't played yet either. So
Yeah, this is still surprisingly up in the air.
yeah. Oh, and they're even playing each. Well, they're playing each other. Bewiz and Winged Centaurs to 1 and 2 are their match is this week.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so the Lizard Men, if they win, could go up to tie for second at least, because one of if those teams, if the Skaven and Chaos Dwarf at the top, if one of them win, the other one will not have a 6-2-1 record. They will have a 6-2-2 record.
Yeah, and based
Or
on
5-2-2.
my really cursory glance at third places before this, the minimum wild card record is likely to be 6-1. There's some really hotly contested divisions, so 5-2 is probably not going to cut it. So it is just the top two from this division that will make it, barring any shenanigans.
Yep, but Fork Tons has a chance to be in that top two. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is what I'm saying. If either one of the Skaven or Chaos Dwarf teams will have to lose. The other one will win to put them at 6-2-1, and then the team that loses will be at 5-2-2, and then the Lizards will be at 5-2-2 as well. So there'll be some sort of tiebreak situation there. I think it's possible, but I'm not going to figure out the TD differential now. That's not what this is about. So we can look at the teams, I guess, and we can go through and see what they're looking like. First on this list here is Froggy Kissers, coached by Roderick, who I believe who are currently in last place in the division. Yeah, 0-3-5, rough start for these high elves. And
Not that high elves are notorious for having an easy start.
that's true. Not a whole lot of development either. Looks like he's probably lost a few players or just hasn't managed to get as much SPP as he would like.
Yeah, he doesn't score very much, and I know he doesn't block very much, so it's a bit
Yeah,
of a mixed bag.
he's got not like only 2 players with levels so far. Lineman with tackle and fend, and a thrower with sure hands and strip ball. That's kind of interesting. I don't know, like that's splitting up your. You kind of want the thrower to be good at throwing, so strip ball doesn't really help him do that very much. Sure hands is fine, but strip ball on him as well as sure hands is kind of like trying to make him do 2 jobs.
Yeah, I would have expected something more like accurate.
Yeah.
He is passing with him a lot. He's got 10 completed passes.
Well,
so.
if he's passing, then you'd think you'd want to go with accurate, right?
Yeah, right. I am agreeing. He's got a fend tackle lineman, just kind of like a utility lineman.
Yeah.
Bit of an odd combo, and he is unfortunately armor busted, so he is almost certainly glue.
Yeah, the tackle is good. I think the tackle strip ball in the same piece would have made a bit more sense, but that's okay. Looks like he's still doing okay.
And the strength busted blitzer is also definitely glue, unfortunately. And high elf positionals are quite expensive, so
Yeah,
he's got enough to replace a blitzer, but
rough start.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden covers currently mid-table necromantic team, coached by Risper Visper. Sorry.
Yep. 3-3-3. He's got a block werewolf. Always
Nice.
good to have. He went guard first from the flesh golems, which is brave. As they are the ones usually taking the hits, it is common to get block first.
That's true.
I grabbed guard first once and realized the pain that can bring you.
I feel though if you need guard on this team somewhere, and if your flesh golem happened to level before the white, like it kind of makes sense, I guess, because you need guard somewhere. So if the flesh golem happened before the white level up, and you were like, well, I got to get guard, so you could take it on the flesh golem, and you'll want it eventually. So it's not like it's a wasted skill or anything.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's just that you also often want to throw blocks with flesh golems if you can, because of their your highest strength piece, and block makes it easier for them to reliably connect those blocks and to develop further. So block is often picked first for those reasons.
Yeah, but it's certainly not bad. Guard is a really good skill to have. You need guard on Necro. Block on the werewolf is awesome. Makes him so much more reliable.
Yeah, I would like to see more werewolf development at this stage, but it can be tough. They're a little unreliable. And,
at the start, yeah, until you can get a block on them or something. It's kind of scary to blitz with them because frenzies and frenzy traps are a thing.
Frenzy without block is.
I love the zombies though.
dirty player kick.
Perfect. That's all you want with zombies.
And you don't even really
more.
care if your kick lineman rather is AV busted. It's not ideal. You'd probably look to replace him soon, but especially if you picked up an extra zombie bench, you could just keep the kick zombie on the bench unless you need to defend. So
yeah, and he can't be on the line anyway because he's kicking. So the armor 8 means he's not likely, or the armor bust means he's not exactly going to get hit as often because he has kick. Because he can't be on the line anyway.
Him around.
No, keep him around until you level a new zombie, and then take kick unless you get doubles, and then fire him.
Exactly.
But 2 dirty players, so
guard
good.
White, which is standard. Necro tend to have to build their whites to be more support pieces than killers.
Because you build the werewolves that way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the werewolves don't get natural Mighty Blow access, so it's not uncommon to eventually get a killer white or to go Mighty Blow on one white. But if you have some extra guard pieces, but you really
start
need
with guard and hope you get doubles on the werewolves, and if you don't, then pick up Mighty Blow.
Yeah, I mean, it turns out undead have strength 5 pieces that pick up guard as their first level, so they have a little more flexibility in terms of where they place their guard, but or where they place their killers rather. So
and he's got a and he's got like a ball hawk type ghoul here with Raj. Probably
sense.
pick up strip ball or tackle maybe.
Yeah, I would go strip ball and then tackle.
He doesn't really have like a dedicated ball carrying ghoul, but you can carry on a white or something,
probably.
or werewolves, so it's not really a big deal.
Turns out movement 8 is good.
Yeah. Winged Centaurs by Aussie Viking, currently in the second, or tied for first basically with Helgen at the top.
5-2-1.
Chaos Dwarves. Oh, that's bad. So his game coming up is against the first place team, and he's missing his block bull centaur.
It's a niggled block break tackle bull centaur.
Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. Well, it kind of matters because he really wants winning this game solidifies your playoff position. Losing it means you have to rely on other people to lose for you to make playoffs, which is always a scary feeling. You'd much rather have it in your own hands, right?
So if they both draw, they both go to playoffs. guaranteed, I think. So that's
Oh.
it. Just fix the match. Don't let anyone know.
Don't encourage that.
What? I'm an admin. I can do what I want. Fuck you.
Other Bull Centaur went break tackle as well. Pretty common first level for Bull Centaurs. There's a couple things people will take, and there's a million arguments over it depending on what you're using them for. But break tackle is a pretty standard one.
I often go one break tackle, one guard, but yeah, or not guard, block rather, but it varies. First level up claw. It turns out just claw is kind of shitty, but
it is. But when you need
it will
doubles,
be mighty blow soon, and then it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the doubles, absolutely.
You need doubles for mutations on Chaos Dwarves, so whenever you roll doubles, you just take Claw so that you can have Mighty Blow Claw next level.
I also love Chorf Claw. It's just, they're little Wolverines, and they have little elbow spikes.
Yeah. He only has one guard, though, on the next Chaos Dwarf blocker. He's got Mighty Blow and guard, so we want Mighty Blow first, but it's only one guard.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have a lot of development on the blockers. I'm guessing that these hobgoblins keep eating the MVPs.
Or scoring or something. I don't know who he's carrying.
The are also definitely scoring a bit, I think.
Let's see.
3 touchdowns.
3 on the first one. And the other one has 3. So yeah, a lot of the touchdowns on the Bulls. Yeah, so it's a little unfortunate. The Chaos Dwarf levels can be slow unless they happen to get MVPs, just because they're not scoring, and without like Mighty Blow, it's hard to get them cased.
Yep, and he's got a dodge hobgoblin, which is a double. Again, that's kind of like a decision that people make. Do you build a ball carrying hobgoblin, or do you build a support hobgoblin with something like guard?
Yeah.
Hobgoblins don't have natural strength access, I don't think. Yes, they don't. They just have general access. So he's going for, I think, a ball carrying hobgoblin. So you pick up block and then sure hands probably on him next to have a blodge sure hands hobgoblin to carry on. It's pretty good.
There's a ton of orcs in this division, so it's really hard for him to pick up SPP from casualties, is what I'm seeing in chat.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, hopefully the claw starts doing work soon. It certainly will in the postseason punch-up. That's
going to be a really good dwarf. A really good Chaos Dwarf after another level. Claw Mighty Blow is just so, like, it's so good to have on, like, dwarf teams, basically, and you can get it here, so there you go.
Then we have Fork Tons with Cat Attack Man.
This is...
It was 4-2-2, one of the other possible second place teams.
Yeah, so he needs to win his game, and he needs the other game between Helgen and Aussie to not be a tie. He needs one of them to win, and then he needs to win his game. And then there's a chance.
Okay, this is a lizard team. So he's taken Juggernaut on the Crocs. I don't like Juggernaut on Croxes because it is implying that you're blitzing with the Crocs, and you shouldn't blitz with the Crocs. Unless it's necessary. Of course, sometimes you blitz with the Crocs. Risking a 2+ to lose your blitz action is, generally speaking, almost as bad as a turnover.
I mean, it's scary, but like the thing is, it makes it more reliable. Like the biggest problem, like 2+s aren't terrible. Like they happen a lot. The biggest problem with blitzing with big guys and stuff is that you can't really reliably reroll if you happen to get double skulls or something.
Or you fail the
yeah, and the Juggernaut just makes them it's slightly safer, right? Because you don't have block. It's like fake block when you're blitzing, so like it's not bad, but I think there could have been better skills there. Like Stand Firm maybe might have been a bit better for depending on what you're using the Crocs for.
Stand Firm or Break Tackle are the standard pickups. I like Stand Firm because of, as previously discussed, Break Tackle is still a 2+. Any roll you make with a big guy is a very dangerous roll because you can't reroll it.
Not reliably anyway.
Yeah. So. Not reliably reroll.
Only one Saurus actually has any levels, and he has 2 of them.
Which is pretty unfortunate for this number of games. So this was like the other reason why I don't like Juggernaut is because you have a very good blitzer. Supreme Lord Snoke is should be eating your blitz action basically every turn as he has block Mighty Blow.
Movement 6, Strength 4, pretty good blitzer.
Yeah.
So you know how many teams would kill for a Movement 6, Strength 4 block Mighty Blow player? A lot.
I wouldn't know, minus Strength 5. I think you should try to focus in your coming games on getting some Saurus SPP. Try to get Saurus handoffs and score with them. It's really necessary, even though it's really
the biggest thing, though, is if he wants to go to playoffs, he has to win this next game, so he can't necessarily focus on that.
Right. I mean, beyond the next, we'll see. If you're in the postseason punch up, for instance, I would definitely focus on that. If you need to win, just score on your skinks.
Movement skink is
plus
really
movement
nice.
skink is really nice. Fuck off! I'm talking. God damn it. Two side step skinks, super standard stuff. But yeah, the plus movement skink is nice. You can get a pseudo movement 12 piece, which makes one turning a breeze. Really good stuff.
It's a little unfortunate as a side note that like he has so much SPP on the Crocs. Like, yeah, getting Crocs levels is hard, so you'd like to level him up, but not at the expense of your Saurus. Like, I would rather that you take that, 18 SPP or whatever that you have on the Crocs to make him a second level and just spread that out amongst the Saurus. Like, and I think the team would have been in a better spot, but sometimes you just can't control who gets MVP or injuries or whatever, right?
Well, I mean, I think it's
that Crocs has scored a touchdown.
I think it's it might be an admin game. So
That's true.
So it's, I feel like the SPP on the Crocs is somewhat exacerbated by the fact that he is blitzing with him. So if you give that player a guaranteed blitz, you're like significantly increasing the likelihood that they will gain SPP. So you're taking, which sounds good, but you're taking SPP away from your source, which are who you really need to develop because they're really unreliable.
And once the Crocs has guard, he doesn't need a whole lot else.
No.
Everything else is luxury at that point.
Yeah, you would do 2-3 levels, and if he doesn't get a double, you'd recycle the Crocs. So, yeah. Next up is Helgian Skaven. Helgen.
Yeah, B-Wiz. This is the team that he is going to have to play, and he is tied in first for.
Exciting match.
Yeah. 2 pending level ups on Gutter Runners. So we can't really talk about that. That's a niggled Skaven, or niggled Gutter Runner, but he's Agi 5, so that's
you wouldn't turf it now. Like he's gonna explode when someone sneezes at him, but until then he's gonna be a gold. Like he's gonna be a star, right?
Yeah, he's got 2 Agi 5 Gutter Runners. Ugh.
Yeah, really, really good development of this team. This team is really gross, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you? He's got 2 pending level ups. What do you do with those level ups, right? So one of those Gutter Runners is block. So he's probably going to be sort of more ball carrying type Skaven rather than anything else.
Yeah, so you'd hope for a double because this is the place where mutations would be really useful.
Or plus movement or something.
Actually. So like the plus agi guy, if he got a mutation, big hand to go collect the ball in after the sacker gets it would be amazing. He's already agi 5, so 2 heads is less useful. Still useful, of course, but I would like big hand on Daniel Ratcliffe.
The thing is, he doesn't have like a strip ball piece yet. He has wrestle tackle on Saw Ratson, but he has no strip ball yet, which makes and that's what really makes the like uphill dive Gutter Runner thing work, is the strip ball, because then you can remove it on pushes.
I mean, a Raj is still 50%. I mean, it's not ideal. A Rackle, whatever. I would have gone strip ball before tackle, I think, on Saw Ratson, but maybe he had a reason for taking the tackle.
Oh, I'm just thinking, like, do you take strip ball on Daniel Ratcliffe? I don't know, because you don't want to, like, he's Agi 5, yeah, so dodging in is pretty easy if you want, but he's also niggled, so he's gonna get punched.
You're mixing and matching your sacking skills, which is stupid. Like, you need them all on one player. That's the whole point.
Well, no, generally Skaven will build 2 as like sackers, and then 2 is sort of either like ball carriers or like touchdown threats or whatever. Right?
I agree, but having half of your sacking skills on one player and half of them on the other doesn't increase reliability. Like, that player going into, if you're diving into, like, then if with strip ball, 4 out of the dice would be successes, but it's still not significantly better than 3, which Saw Ratson has now.
Yeah,
I would rather build Daniel Ratcliffe as a receiver, or not a receiver, as a like collector, a ball collector.
Yeah, but then he's only going to have 1 removal, like ball removal player, and then if he gets hurt, you just lose the game.
We are talking way too much about these teams.
Probably.
We're going to be here all day. Anyway, really interesting stuff with Gutter Runners, of course. Neither of us are Skaven coaches, but really good development. Really interesting options available to you. Wish you had leveled them up, because this would have been cool to talk about. Mighty Blow Storm Vermin is really nice. Hopefully you get a double, get Claw. You've got the kick, you've got Dirty Player, you've got everything you need in your line rats. So
yeah, this is the Gutter Runner question is a hard one. Like, if that wasn't a niggle, I would probably just throw him at being another removal player. But the niggle means that he's gonna, like, you'll dive into cages and he'll be stuck there, and then he's gonna get killed. So that makes it a little more terrifying.
That's why I like him as a grab the ball and get out kind of piece.
Yeah, sure
Then we
hands or
have
big hands.
Corvain with Chaos, who is finished all of his games, so his final record is 4-3-2. So that's not good enough for playoffs, but still pretty solid record for early Chaos.
And he is
Wow.
going chaosy
going
as
claw.
hell. Mighty Blow Claw, Mighty Blow Claw, Claw. Block, dodge, dodge.
So the first pickup of Claw is usually not a good idea, but I think he did it probably because he had a game against Orcs coming up, or there's just a lot of Orcs in the division in general.
Yeah, it's not as good in general as just Mighty Blow, not knowing what teams you're going to face, but if you know you're going up against all Armor 9, it's really good.
Yeah, Claw is better against an all Armor 9 team than Mighty Blow is.
Yeah, so that's probably why. And then he's got 2 Mighty Blow Claw players, just he's going as chaosy as it is, not a whole lot to talk about. The Beastman that got Dodge for doubles is probably going to just be a ball carrier at this point, because eventually he'll be Blodge. You hope to roll Agi or something.
Yeah, he's going, it looks like more support pieces with his Chaos Warriors. So he went all block first. He got a Blodge Chaos Warrior, so that one is going to get guard next.
Yep,
be a nice...
and the other ones will probably get guard as well. Yeah.
Yep, and then into Mighty... They'll eventually go Claw, Mighty Blow, but not as a first.
No, it'll probably be block guard, and then like Mighty Blow or block Mighty Blow guard. It'll be a while before he gets there.
Or something in between, yeah. Anyway, really good team so far.
The difference a little bit is that they're Agi 3, so you can carry on them if you want to. It's just slow, but they're also Strength 4 and Blodge, which is for that one guy, which makes it pretty good. So if you can, you want to do handoffs and
hard
stuff.
To knock down and easy to like move around. Like it's a 1 in 9. He's as likely to dodge out of a tackle zone as a skink, right? So
yeah,
it's pretty nice. And then we have Dr. Ben's Smelly Wrestlers, first Orc team. Apparently there are a lot of them, 2, 3, and 3, so a bit of a mixed record. Early Orcs can have a bit of a rough time, especially against other AV9 teams. 2 Mighty Blow Blitzers, Block Thrower, and a Lineman pending a level up.
And 2 Block Black Orcs. He went block. He went block first on the Black Orcs, which is fine. Some people do it. Orcs really need guard somewhere. Like that's how the only way you can really win against other bashy matchups is by abusing guard, and he doesn't have any yet. So you either want to take that first on the Black Orcs instead of block, and then do hits with blitzers, or you want to take some guard on the blitzers and then take block with the Black Orcs. But he doesn't have guard anywhere, so I'd like to see a bit more guard. But he's got 2 Black Orcs that are really close to leveling, so those ideally will probably be guard when he levels up. And one of those blitzers is 15, so he's likely to pick up like tackle next or whatever and be a pretty reliable player removal piece. So it's looking good, but I think you need like 2 more games under your belt, and then things will start coming a lot easier, right? Once you get it might be a bit hard now, but you need some guard, I think, and then maybe a tackle piece, and then things will suddenly be a lot nicer for you.
Yeah. Oh, and to Papanasi's point about Dauntless, because I missed this. My understanding with Gutter Runners is that Dauntless, like changing it from a red die to a 1 die, once you have all of the tools for removing the ball, doesn't significantly increase your odds of taking the ball away. Like with a reroll, it's over 90% once you have strip ball, tackle, and wrestle. So I don't know if Dauntless is a priority, but like we said, also not a skating coach.
You can also use it for just like blitzing players.
He went a bit greedy. And in a bashy division, you're going to have trouble not having any guard. So hopefully he picks up some soon.
Rosicrucials, who are in 9th currently, so not doing amazingly so far with a record of 0-3-5.
This is what's his face's team?
Shit Sauce.
Well, no, his name on the Discord server is not Shit Sauce.
What's his Discord server name?
I know it. I just can't. I think it's Bluefish.
Oh, Bluefish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got a Blodge Blitzer, a plus movement Blitzer, and no other Blitzer levels, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's got 2. He's missing a blocker. You can still pick up 1 more.
He started with only 1 blocker because his friend lied to him and told him that was a good start.
Oh, well, I mean, you have the money. You could buy another blocker now, which I probably would because you're also short a player, and I would rather have a blocker than a loner peasant. He's got guard on one of the blockers, which is nice. You need guard somewhere, and he's got a lineman with guard, so that's nice because guard is amazing. The problem is once you get all of your positionals, you're going to have only 3 peasants, and then you're going to be putting your peasant on the line all the time because you don't want to expose your blockers or blitzers. So he's likely to get hit, and with armor 7, he might not last that long. And then if he's getting hit on the line, the guard isn't as useful. I mean, I still would have taken it. I'm not going to lie, because guard is amazing, and it's a double.
It's nice with the fend, though, because if he does survive, he can't be based up unless you move players forward to do it.
That's true.
It is a little nice to have that. I mean, I don't know what else you'd take as a double on Brett's, to be honest, but I am the farthest thing from a Brett.
I mean, I would take guard. I would still take it. It's kind of scary, especially when you don't have an extra roster, right? Like, you can, if you had a bench like of 12 or something, which you probably want at some point, because then you can foul more freely with the peasants. You could just not field the guard guy on defense, and then on offense you have an extra guard piece, which is really nice. But for now, so like, I definitely would have taken it, certainly, but for now it's a little scary, and you kind of hope he doesn't die until you can get a bit of a bench.
Yeah, and you'd really like to see a bit more development on these blitzers.
Blodge one is nice, though.
The Blodge is nice, and the plus movement one is good too. Movement 8.
Yeah, that's really good. Especially with the fact that they have catch and their pass access and all that nonsense. So you could like do some really serious sort of elf nonsense with like, quick passes. Like, you do like a 3, pick up the ball with 1 blitzer, move 7, do a little handoff or like a quick pass to the blitzer, move 8. That's like most of the pitch in one turn. Like, you can do some pretty serious sort of like rugby short pass running play stuff. And that's kind of how Brett's play. So you can make a lot of nonsense out of that if you try hard.
Then we have the first replacement, I think, which is
REBBRL Orcs.
77.
Yeah, and the REBBRL
Orcs.
Orcs.
I can't remember.
Leader is also a good use of pass access. I mostly meant the catch, the fact that they have catch, and the fact that he's movement 8, so you can do like short passes pretty easily with like the free reroll from catch, and then run to space. REBBRL Orcs, Sherlock 77. Not a whole lot to talk about here, other than he's going block on the Black Orcs as well. He is 5-1 and 2. So he's mid-table, certainly.
No, those 5 wins are, a bunch of them are wins.
3-1 and 4.
Yeah, his record is not quite like that.
Oops,
he's going all block. So again, doesn't have any guard, but also the blitzers. Oh, he took catch on a blitzer, right? I think we discussed this. Bit of an odd choice. He's trying to do a bit of the passing orc thing, which is
and Agi3 cat, like, you picture orcs as like big punchy bashy teams or whatever, and they are, because that's what they're good at, but like Agi3 is average, right? It's not unreasonable to make an Agi3 pass to an Agi3 catch and have it work, right? That's what humans do. So it's not unreasonable. I mean, I think it's not ideal. If it's probably better to have taken guard or mighty blow there. Probably guard, because you went block on the Black Orcs first, but you can certainly make it work. So if you're having fun with it, go ahead. Why not?
College is for teaching you to meme.
And
we have Jubisak's The Mining Machines, another replacement. So his record shows as 5-2-1, but in the leaderboard it would not be that. A 4 reroll Chorf team. I would not have 4 rerolls on Chorfs. They are a little bit more reliable because they have 6 players rather that are block out of the box, so not as necessary. Blodge Bull Centaur though is really nice.
Yeah, that's good.
You get break tackle on him next, and he's incredibly mobile and incredibly hard to knock down. Really good ball carrier.
Break tackle and dodge on high strength pieces is so, like, I love that interaction. It's so good.
Yes, it's really gross. He's going the guard start for Chaos blockers, Chaos Dwarf blockers, which I enjoy. Some people advocate for Mighty Blow, and he has 2 dirty player hobgoblins. He is all about the fouls. I am into it.
Good. That's what hobgoblins are for.
Too much of a bench, I think. 2 bench is probably good enough. 14 is giving away too much TV, I think, on top of the 70k bloat you're getting from this extra reroll.
Yeah, he could drop his team value a bit.
Yeah, he also has a cheerleader and fan factor. Not fan factor, coach assistant rather. Fan factor, keep fan.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV you're giving away here that you don't really need to. I mean, there's an argument for like 1 coach assistant, I think. Sometimes. Because like
at higher TVs when it just doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, that's true.
Your teams is going to be either significant or insignificant. So, but at this level, I would not have the extra reroll. I would not have the extra cheerleaders or fan.
Yeah, he could save like 130 TV and drop down to 1300, I think, and still have basically the same team.
Agreed.
I like the guard on the Chaos Dwarf. Some people will take Mighty Blow first, but I think you need guard on dwarfy teams.
Yeah, I mean they can be tough positionally, like compared to like normal dwarfs. They can move the ball around more, but they only have 6 of those reliable blockers, so you can get a little overwhelmed especially if the other team has guard. It can be really hard to find good blocks.
Yeah.
So that's it for the multi-region.
Yep.
We've already looked at the leaderboard, so we will now move on to Europe C.
Okay. Sorry, I was just checking Discord to make sure we haven't heard anything from anyone. So the schedule. None of the week 9 matches have played yet, so everybody's sort of on an even playing field. So currently up at the top we have Branch coaching the Apple Branches, the Wood Elves, and Glow Dude coaching Dead or Alive, I Can't Tell, the Undead. Both with pretty similar records, so they've basically got this division on lock. Even if they both lose this week, I don't think.
No, I mean it's not basically. It's just
Yeah.
Those 2 coaches are going, and
Yeah.
I don't think the second place or third place coach. No, they can't.
No, they can't. So I can't really comment on the third place like wildcard stuff yet because I haven't looked at all the divisions to know who's likely to go with records and stuff, or even how many there will be. So, but the top 2 for sure. This looks like it's going to be Branch and Glow Dude pretty strongly. In fact, 100% as far as I can tell.
Ben,
What?
my camera is borked.
Oh, oops. Right, there we go. We just did, yeah. So we'll start right off with Apple Branches, I guess. And Branch, this is the team that is currently winning this division with 6-2-0. They haven't actually lost yet.
They will be going to playoffs.
So they're doing well. And I imagine that strip ball tackle ward answer has something to do with that.
I mean, and the plus agi sidestep blodge catcher.
Absolutely.
Kind of a weird. Oh no. Yeah, kind of a weird order on those skills, but I mean, once you have Blood Step, you have Blood Step. So
yeah, I mean, he took Agi first, obviously, duh, and then he took Sidestep over Block first, which I think is just like a slightly backwards order, but that's fine. It makes him so likely to just get the Sidestep makes 1 turns a lot easier. B, you can just throw him in the end zone, and he's not like super likely to get knocked over. And then you can just throw it at him, and he'll leave because Agi 5. So. Who cares what
I see the reasoning to be made there. He's got a fresh War Dancer. Is this a new? Yeah. So he lost a War Dancer at some point. That happens. War Dancers live brilliant and short lives. He's going the all dodge setup for the linemen, other than the kick. So he's just trying to increase his, reduce his like reroll loss to like lineman dodges and things like that. Make them more reliable in the sense that they can dodge around. They don't die as often because Defender Stumbles doesn't work.
Yeah, well, you're very likely to just dodge out with your lineman at the end of turns because he's not taking very many blocks, I would imagine. So instead of like hitting or basing with line elves as some elf coaches would do, he's just dodging them out at the end of every turn, and dodge makes that a bit easier.
Sensible with what else is the usual tactic.
Is this a new tree?
He doesn't have any guard pieces, so he hasn't rolled any doubles, unfortunately, and the tree has not leveled.
4 matches, but 0 SPP out of it.
Trees are hard to level, man.
It's true. Tell that to my halfling trees.
Yeah, really solid team. Got all the tools he needs. He's got so what you'd like to see this team get is Mighty Blow on a War Dancer if you can roll a double. Guard on some linemen if you can roll doubles again. You'd probably want to pick up an extra catcher once you have the cash, which you have now, to try to build him as a another sacker probably, because you've got the Agi 5 ball carrier / ball retrieval guy. So you want like
another receiving option is also good, just so that you don't have to like your opponent has more than one target to blitz, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the sacker catcher works as a receiver too because he's still Agi 4 catch. Yep. So that works well. Really solid team. Could develop into a really gross team in the next couple of games.
It already is a little bit gross.
It's pretty standard. I mean, I assume they just hand out Agi 5 at like, for the first level of any Wood Elf team is like,
I mean, well, it turns out like
team and we'll give you an Agi 5 player.
What's Agi 11?
Yes.
right? So there's a 2 in 36 or whatever of rolling that, and you have 11 players. So like after a round of level ups, you're pretty likely to get it on at least somebody. And it turns out that it's good on literally anybody on the Wood Elf team except for the tree. So you'll see it pretty frequently.
Look, I would take plus agi on a tree. Look at him dodge. So next up is the Red Velvet Titans by Arendar.
Yep, they're mid-table.
Wow.
They're dead mid-table at 2, 4, and 2. That
is
a
I
runner.
Talk about this elf in dwarfs
Clothing.
Yeah.
That's a movement 7, agi 4, dwarf runner. The downside is he doesn't have like, so that's so good. Like that has basically eliminated the dwarves' biggest weakness, and that ball handling and speed. There's two things that you need to be careful with though. One being he's movement 7 and everyone else on your team is like 5 or 4. So he can very easily like just get away. Like that'll be really good for scoring or for getting to the ball and picking it up and then getting safe without using too much movement. But like you need to be careful when you're going up the field that you don't get too far away from your supporting dwarves because you're like almost double their movement.
Yeah. He also has a second runner. I don't know if that's standard. He's maximized his amount of AV8 on a dwarf team, which doesn't seem like the best idea to me. It's nice to have that wrestle piece as like a potential sacker, but
some people take it. A lot of it.
Recovery options as dwarves, I feel, are very limited. Even with the movement 7 plus agi runner.
A lot of it is mostly just having the redundancy, right? Like the other problem I was going to talk about with runners is that they're armor 8 and he doesn't have block yet, so he's an enormous target for the other team, right? No block and armor 8. So if he goes down, you are screwed for ball carrying options, and that's why some dwarves will often take 2 runners, is that so they have the second piece that could also pick up the ball if one of them goes down. But the fact that neither of them have block means that they're likely to go down, and that's a little scary.
Yep. Other than that, Mighty Blow Blitzer, 2 guard, Longbeard's super standard stuff. He doesn't have any levels on the Troll Slayers yet, which is unfortunate. They're also usually good blitzers / surfers. One has played 1 match, and the other one has played 8. So one has been around forever and has 2 SPP, and one is new, presumably because the other one died. Might have been a leveled up one. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, you'd like to see like tackle or mighty blow or something to make them good, like blitzer pieces.
Yep, blitzers and surf threats.
But that runner is so good. Wow. You just got to be careful because it's really good, but it could get you in trouble if you do things incorrectly.
You done?
So Veni Vidi Vikings by Staponi, a Norse team. They are, let's see,
2, 2, and 4. So middle of the lower end of the table, had a bit of a rough start.
They're currently 6th. Oops.
Yep. IKEA, the Yeti, has yet to level up. You really want to get them Mighty Blow quickly so that you can have a sweet Claw Mighty Blow threat on a Norse team. It's really scary for armor teams to deal with.
Fend on alignment is an interesting first choice, but they already have blocks, so you don't really need a whole lot else, I guess. But
usually you grab tackle quickly, but he's got a tackle lineman as well, so maybe he just felt like having a couple survivable linemen. This one is noodled, it looks like.
Yeah, he's got 2. So those are like his line fodder pieces, and that just kind of keeps them a bit more alive on the line instead of just taking free hits every turn. Right, he can just fend and at least prevent the next turn's hit with armor 7. That's always nice to have.
He's got a Mighty Blow Berserker. He only has 1 Berserker, so it looks like he might have lost another one.
I would like to point out that he has the rare, elusive, never before seen Norse Thrower.
He does. It's true.
No one I'll be honest with you. I didn't know the Norse Thrower existed for like the first 3 months of my Blood Bowl playing career.
Wait, where's the Norse Thrower? I don't see a Norse Thrower.
He has pass. It's right under the first Fend lineman.
No. Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like I didn't know the Norse Thrower was a player that existed for my first like 3 months of Blood Bowl because I never played Norse, so I didn't go into the like team creation page, and I never saw one because I didn't know that they were a player.
It's because they're kind of bad.
Well, you're not likely to actually do throwing on a Norse team. Most people it's more of a running game, so you just use the runners or whatever.
I mean, they're efficient. They're just a lineman that has pass as a normal quote skill. So
and they have passing access, so you can get leader pretty easily if you want a cheaper reroll, which is another good reason to have them at some point. But
yeah, it's a bit, but yeah.
In some like res format leagues or whatever, a cheaper reroll, it can save you some TV. In an Eternal League, it's less meaningful, but it's certainly still a thing that you could do. 2 pending lineups, or level ups, which kind of sucks that we can't comment on it. Dirty Player Lineman is really good. Mighty Blow Berserker makes a lot of sense. He'll likely just pick up Piling On next because you start with Jump Up. Like, Berserkers are just so good for Norse players.
Yep, and you just tape that button down, hit them every chance you get.
Yep.
He should probably get a new Berserker. He doesn't have any of the Dauntless pieces, the runners.
The runners,
right?
yeah. He's going to throw instead.
Usually have one or two of those. He's got a level up Ulf, which is nice, because again,
Block.
Frenzy with no skills is really unreliable, so picking up Block is super standard.
Yep, Frenzy with Block is way better. So he'll probably pick up like Mighty Blow or something next, or a Guard, because he has no Guard anywhere. And you probably don't want to get it on the Berserkers. And Guard on the Strength 4 pieces is kind of nice, because you can just park them places, and they're a lot harder to knock over.
Yep. And then we have Lord Skaven Crew.
Yeah, so where in the table is he? He is
towards the bottom. He's had a bit of a rough season.
9th.
What does he have? He's got a plus strength gutter runner. That's neat.
That is neat.
Makes him a lot more reliable, kind of increases his... we were talking about this with Skinks in the advice channel the other day, where getting plus strength on a strength 2 piece can be kind of weird for rookies to wrap their head around. But what you need to consider is that it doubles his presence on the field. Like, he now requires extra pieces if they want to reliably block him.
Yep.
And when you get plus strength on a strength 2 piece that has general access, like the reason it's not so great on Skinks is because they don't have general access. So you can't make them more reliable with things like block rather, where gutter runners can be super reliable. So now this guy becomes probably your ball carrier. You could turn him into a sacker as well, because it's like Dauntless or Horns wrapped up into one, right? Like, he's just a better piece for blitzing with.
The biggest thing for Strength 3 for me is that instead of now being 3-dyed by any big guy or by any Strength 4 piece with 1 assist, he now needs Strength 7 to be 3-dyed, which is really big, especially if you take like block dodge, or if you have dodge as your next skill. He's so much more difficult to actually knock down, and a lot of the time people are going to have to be throwing like sort of terrifying long-range blitzes on your gutter runners to remove the ball from them, because they're so fast. So removing the possibility of an easy 3-die on them makes such a huge difference in terms of like keeping hold of the ball, which is really good. There's 2 gutter runners that are about to level, so they'll likely get like strip ball or wrestle or tackle or something like that and start to become...
Yeah, you'd like to throw a few vanity passes in the next one to really get those levels easily.
Yep.
Andy Davrat is probably going to get blocks. So you have a block guard lineman, which is nice. And Ratty the Sage will probably get wrestle.
Yep.
Common for line rats to get wrestle, just to like keep them alive a bit longer and have them tying up people.
The guard line rat is really nice. A little bit of extra guard is always good on a Skaven team, and that's a double, so good to pick up.
You've always got like lots of line fodder, so you don't really have to worry about like having to throw your guard piece in the line unless your team implodes, which admittedly does happen with Skaven. And he's got Storm of Tea, which is 2 SPP, 1 Kaz away from maybe Claw.
From praying for doubles.
Yeah, a 1 in 6 for Claw. So pretty good.
All named after like Blood Bowl streamers or like Blood Bowl personalities and stuff.
That, yes.
I like Gerber the skink rat.
And then we have the Bro Tasticles Paradise on Earth.
They are 8th in the division so far, so just above Lord Skaven. Yeah,
right.
there's no dirty player on Sage.
He doesn't have kick. I didn't notice that. You'd pick up kick on a line rat. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skaven really, really love kick. So super standard stuff there.
You talked with the line rat, so I didn't really pay attention to you. So I assumed you already mentioned that.
No, I'm tired. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
No, yeah, I would take kick for sure there. Anyway, the Bro Tasticles, Paradise on Earth. They're all bros, which I think is fun. Human team, they're not doing amazing. They're 2, 2, and 4. But let's see what we've got here. We've got two blitzers with Mighty Blow and 1 with Guard, which is pretty standard. It's a little sad that this guy has a niggle though. some of your blitzers are going to be the guard pieces, and some of them are going to be your actual blitzing pieces. So you'd love to get Mighty Blow on one and guard on one, and then some sort of distribution of those skills between the other two. Bronin the Barbarian is armor value busted, which is pretty bad, and you can't afford to replace him right now. So you just really hope that after your next game, you'll make enough money to replace him, and you'll just have to live with 3 blitzers for your next game, sadly.
Yep.
Ogre with guard, always good.
The niggled Bromando is also a bit of a problem. It doesn't matter as much on blitzers. You just or killer blitzers, I should say, because then you just accept that they're gonna die and try to get SPP on the other Mighty Blow blitzer, especially when you don't have the money to replace him. But
I would replace the AV7 one first over the niggle one, probably.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, super standard stuff. Got 2 guard, got a wrestle lineman. He's going with the passing game, it looks like, because he did pick up accurate after leader for the free reroll. He's got leader and 3 rerolls, which is a bit bloaty. Human rerolls are cheap; they're only 50k, but I would probably still drop down to 2.
Leader is cheaper though; it's 20k because it's a normal skill for the thrower.
Yeah, I just meant having the extra reroll is less bloat than it would be on another team, but still, I would drop down to 2. With the leader.
Well, you gotta be if the leader goes out, that could be scary. Some people will take their throwers and make them more like runners rather than passers, with block and stuff to make them more reliable. But it looks like he's actually passing, and the catcher is the one who's gotten blocked, so that just keeps him on his feet more often to receive those catches. So
especially as he has strength 2, so like we said, easy 3 dies and 2 dies. So
it's a good point. He has 6 cheerleaders, so I don't think the bloat is a thing that he's concerned with.
Wow. He should also ditch the 6 cheerleaders, it turns out.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
He always wins the cheering fans kickoff event. So he just really loves rerolls. He really wants to have 5 or 6.
Yeah, coach assistants and cheerleaders are kind of a weird holdout from previous versions of Blood Bowl that they don't really, nobody takes them. They don't do anything. There's some argument to be made for having 1 in it at high TVs because then it's only 20k, which is basically just a skill, and they give you a slight advantage over your opponent sometimes. But for the most part, they're just not worth it, and I don't really know why they're in the game anymore.
Yep.
Dead or alive, I can't tell by Glow Dude, the other team that's basically guaranteed to go to playoffs in this division. Considering
you can just say guaranteed.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to make other people feel bad.
But it's just a fact.
6-1-1. Undead team looks pretty normal, although he's opted to go straight killer on the whites. So the mummies have picked up guard, which is the first skill you take on mummies in 100% of the cases. Unless you roll some stupid stat or whatever.
And then he has 2 absolutely disgusting whites. He's gone for the double killer white route, so Mighty Blow tackle piling on and Mighty Blow piling on, and based on his casualties inflicted, I think he just hits that button every time it comes out.
To sell cheerleader miniatures and assistant coach miniatures. That makes sense. As a Warhammer model person myself, I understand the selling of stupid miniatures. So yeah, the two Mighty Blow are 2 super killer whites. Sometimes you'll get a guard piece as 1, but you've already got 2 with the mummy, so you don't need it as much, and this gives you more options to just remove players. He's got a super good ball carrier ghoul with Blodge Sure Hands, and then he's got another Blodge one, and then a whole lot of zombies. No levels in the zombies yet, which is okay, because you don't really care, but you'd like to get maybe kick or some dirty player started on those zombies, certainly. I like a bench of 13, especially with a bench of 13. You should be picking up some dirty player and just kicking someone every turn.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have a skeleton for fouling. Some people like the zombies over them, but the movement 5 can help get in position for good fouls.
He just also doesn't have any dirty player yet, but soon probably.
Soon TM.
Very
I mean 6-1-1, so very strong start, but he is undead, so that is to be expected to some extent. Not to take it away from him. But
I don't really care about kicking undead either, but some people would. It's not a wrong choice. Some people care about it. It's not objectively wrong to take kick, I don't think, but I don't think I would personally. So Hell's Doofuses, Yorick Chaos team, they are 7th in the division so far, so down sort of near the bottom with a record of 2-2-4.
Have been pummeled, unfortunately.
Certainly have. Only 3 Chaos Warriors alive, and only one of them with a level with Mighty Blow. He's going the like killer route first with the Chaos Warriors to try and get them leveled, but it is not really paying off considering there are only 3 of them, and two of them have 0 SPP.
Yep, he's gonna probably take block next on Pointer Fur to have a Blodge ball carrier.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, he's going kind of like a mixed bag with everything, and he's MNG'd on one of his only Mighty Blow pieces. This is some unfortunate damage he sustained.
Yeah, it's rough. Early Chaos is rough, and this has sort of been exacerbated a bit by the fact that he's just losing players left and right. But he's getting there, but it's going to be a rough few games coming up until he gets another Chaos Warrior and restores his team a little bit. Gets a few more levels. Sometimes with early Chaos, you've got to hope to get lucky, and it just looks like he hasn't been. But, in 3 or 4 more games or something, when he can start to get a few more levels going, it should become a lot easier for Yorick.
Yep. I mean, if you want to learn how to play real precise pitch pitch teams, play Rookie Chaos or Rookie Nurgle.
Yeah, he can pick up a new Chaos Warrior. It drops him pretty low, but he can have a 4. But they're all rookies still, is the kind of the problem when you're 9 games into a season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still do it. He's got the 3 rerolls. What else is he saving?
Oh, I mean, I would do it. I'm just saying that, like, that's rough. The fact that you're 9 games into the season and you only have 1 Chaos Warrior level.
Yep, and you're missing one of your best goats. So, next up is Said Moria Mur by Amato.
They are 4th in the division so far. Skaven team.
2 and 3, Skaven. Ooh, they have a movement 10, strength 1 gutter runner.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, that's just a 1-turner. You hope to never field him.
Yeah,
and if you do have to field him, you run him to the corner of the pitch and accept that you're down a player.
Yeah, he's movement 10 sprint.
Yeah, you don't throw out a movement 10 sprint. That is a natural 1-turner. Yeah, you can't throw it away.
No, I don't care that he's strength 1. He's just never going to be on the field. You need to pick up a few like line rats or something to make sure that you can avoid fielding him at all costs. Because he's such a big like target for the other team. They just want to kill him. But like you'll have such a hard time losing games from now on, because as long as there's 1 turn left, you can get a touchdown like with a couple 2+s. So that's super good. That's really fun. You use him and abuse him until he happens to get fouled to death.
Yeah, exactly. And you hope to never field him, though with Skaven that is a luxury. He's got a Blodge gutter runner, Wrestle Script Ball gutter runner, super standard.
Yep, really good.
Mighty Blow Tackle Storm Vermin is really good. You'd want that to be Claw, but I mean Tackle is the next best option.
And a Kick Line Rat. Another line rat. The next line rat to level will probably get Dirty Player. I would pick up a few line rats here, honestly, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're only at 11 players right now. Like you're at 10 players even. So you're going to be fielding a loner line rat, and you have to field your gutter runner. I would buy like 2 or 3 line rats and just make sure that
they're 50k.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only get 2. I would buy 2 certainly. I didn't look at his money. I would buy 2 and try to get another one as soon as possible, just so you can basically never field that gutter runner unless you're on offense, and then you just 1 turn and then repeat. So that'll be exciting to play with if you haven't done a whole lot with him yet. So next will be
Sunbathers Creazione di Cane.
Yeah, I'm glad you tried that name instead of me, because I would have butchered it worse, I think.
3, 4, and 1. Pretty strong Necro record. Necro early can be tough, as we discussed. So he's only given up 1 loss. Yeah.
Werewolves more reliable.
He got a double on his first doggo level, so he has a Mighty Blow, Block, Claw, Werewolf, Doggo Prime, which is an appropriate name, who is 1 Kaz away from another level.
And he'll get that pretty easily with Frenzy,
tackle,
Mighty Blow, Block, Claw. Yeah, Tackle
exactly.
is probably the next option. Unless you get like plus Strength or something dumb.
Yeah, no,
but
he's just going to roll plus Strength, and then both of his Flesh Golems are going to implode. That's generally how this goes in my experience. He's got a Block Flesh Golem, like we discussed earlier. That's the standard first level. And a fresh one, which might be... Yeah, he's new. So he has already paid the golem tax, guys. Don't worry about it.
I still don't understand where that came from. Like, are flesh golems just really likely to die for some reason?
No, I mean, they're armor 9 thick skull regeneration. Like they should be. I mean, thick skull doesn't help you not die, but whatever.
So why is the
Their
golem
armor
tax a
9
meme
regen.
then?
Because in Rebel there are so many necro teams and there are so many disgusting werewolves. Like there are Mighty Blow Strength 4 werewolves. Like it's everywhere. They're just fucking everywhere. But the joke is to have those werewolves, you lose flesh golems. Like you have to pay the flesh golem tax to have those sweet werewolves. So that's the meme. I mean, flesh golems are more likely to die because they're always the ones getting punched on the necro team. Like
that's
you just
true.
throw flesh golems at people because they're usually block guard stand firm. So
annoying.
The ones taking the hits.
A Blodge White, which is kind of nice because you can do a lot of ball carrying with him if you want. But you can also do that on the Sure Hands Ghoul, or you can even just pick up with the Ghoul, hand off to the White, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or you pick up guard next on this White because,
yeah.
like I said before, necro pieces are necro Whites tend to be support. So a Blodge guard is Blodge guard Agi 3, easy to move around, easy to provide assists, hard to knock down, like just a really good piece.
And Doggo Prime will be doing 100% of your blitzes.
Well, you kind of can't afford to do that with Necro simply because it's so easy to frenzy trap people.
Okay.
But anytime
every blitz that's reasonable will be done with Doggo Prime because you want to maximize that.
Yeah, you want to cause attrition, and he's got a guard zombie, which is really nice. That's a good first level.
Extra guard, always extra guard is nice, especially when you have none.
Especially on Necro, yeah.
So we'll see some dirty player coming up soon there probably. And that looks like Europe C. So we can move on to Europe B and see what the schedule coming up here is.
We're
game
half
played.
An hour per division, so we should probably speed this up a bit.
It'll speed up a bit towards the end because we'll have talked about a lot of the things we cared about already. No Comet Please and Scary Spooky Skeletons have already played 1-1, so keep that in mind. And we take a look at the leaderboard where No Comet Please is currently in first.
He will be unless my mentee Soxy can win his game, which he will go to first. So Pazeltov, as far as I know, has a bye. I was talking about this with my mentee earlier. So Pazeltov will go to 6, 1, and 2. So if my mentee wants to, if Gangster Reptiles wants to stay in second, they need to at least draw to get the tie. So that's going to be an interesting game, and they are playing against the Lavender Town Library, which is Gogma, which is Squiggy's mentee. So we have a mentee.
That's exciting. So there's the top 3 teams here are all sort of still in contention for those top 2 spots, and it depends on how the last week shapes out as to who ends up where. But the top 2 will be one of these 3 teams, I think, and even the third place team will have a really good record, so they're likely to be the one of the wildcard teams anyway, because they'll have like a 6 win record in third place. So that's pretty likely to be a wild card anyway. So we might see all 3 of them, but I'm not going to confirm or deny that yet because I'm not 100% sure.
Yep. And then first up is Scary Spooky Skeletons, which is
Macaulay.
Yep. Middle of the pack. He's one of the people I noticed that are streaming their games, which is always cool for us.
Yeah, more content.
The college folks creating content.
More content is awesome because there's only so many people who do it on the regular, and it's hard to get everything covered. So if there's more people getting involved in it, that's awesome because that's more Blood Bowl for people to watch.
Exactly. And he is 2, 5, and 2, so a bit of a mixed record with Undead, but he's not giving away a lot of losses, that's for sure. And he has a plus strength White, which is so good.
That is really good. That's a good blitzer for you.
Yeah, an amazing killer later on. He's going the guard White route with the other White. Makes sense as he did not have an early mummy level, so he just wants to get that extra guard pieces in a pretty bashy division. There are a lot of lizards, so...
Yeah, so that strength mummy will get, or strength White is going to get like Mighty Blow next. The other mummy will probably get guard next, and then that guard White can, we'll see what he's going to spend a lot of his time guarding, so it's not super relevant right now as to what his next skill is.
Yep, and he's got the standard. He's got a wrestle ghoul. He's got a block ghoul. So he's got options available to him. He's got a bit of a sacker in the
Casket Snatcher.
Yeah, Casket Snatcher is a bit of a blitzer because the block tackle is kind of nice for just being a good safety or something like that to pick off any fast LV teams that run past you or any skinks.
You'll probably pick up tackle next on Marrow Gnawer to have the blitzer or the sacker piece with wrestle tackle.
I'd go strip ball and then tackle, but yes.
It depends on what the other teams you're playing are like. If there's a lot of sure hands or not, I think
it's true. Sure hands is an often underrepresented skill in my experience. The white's going to get Mighty Blow tackle, like we said. Yeah, really good looking team so far.
A dirty player zombie, always good. Dirty player, stomp, stomp, stomp. Team's looking nice, and Ivan the Impaler is going to be a scary piece in like 2 or 3 games, certainly once he gets Mighty Blow and tackle and that kind of good stuff.
Yep, and then there is Toaster Bait with Clan Nibblers, who is the 4th place team likely with 4-2-2.
Guess what? He has a Rat Ogre, and it's block.
I taught Soxy played him at some point, so I had to talk about this team a lot. And it has a block Mighty Blow. Do they get mutation X's on doubles? They do. He could have a claw Mighty Blow Rat Ogre, which would be disgusting.
That's what Cupkilla is in the HJMC. He's a strength 6 block claw Rat Ogre. Yeah, he is.
Because he's played two cups, so you can only play 2.
But that's so gross.
Yep, he's already got Nibbler von Nibelheim with Claw. So Claw first, like we said, not the best, but it'll still do work, and it'll eventually be Claw Mighty Blow.
And you have to take it because it's their doubles, and you don't want to pass up the doubles when you get Claw out of it.
He's got a natural 1-turner because apparently you just get those with Skaven.
You do. All you need is
not strength 1.
All you need is any plus movement anywhere, and then eventually you have a natural 1-turner because you just pick up sprint or whatever.
That's true, and it is a 4 and 36. So.
Yep. So that's amazing. And then he picked up doubles on another gutter runner to make a like ball sacker type player, as you would say, with horns and wrestle. So
unfortunately, he is niggled, which it means his lifespan is significantly reduced.
But keep using him. I mean, horns is not easy to come by, and then you pick up a strip ball probably, and then you just abuse him until he dies. I would say.
Yep, for sure. And he's got the ball carrying. He's got the 3 gutter runners you want most, which is a 1-turner, a sacker, and a ball carrier. So,
yep. Wrestle lineman and a kick lineman. Probably we'll get a dirty player lineman at some point. The only thing this team is really missing right now is a bit more levels on the Storm Vermin. Like you would like that Storm Vermin to Mighty Blow, and you'd like this guy to have either Mighty Blow or Guard or something, and then suddenly...
Yeah, this is kind of the argument against the Rat Ogre, is that he takes SPP away from players that you'd like to... Like, if that 15 SPP was on Nibbler, then Nibbler would be Claw Mighty Blow. That said, you've got a block Mighty Blow Rat Ogre. It's pretty fun.
The argument for it is that this is a much healthier Skaven team than any other Skaven team we've seen, because you lose so many less players with a Rat Ogre around.
Yeah, it turns out armor 8 on a big guy is a roadblock / anti-attrition tool when you're only armor 7. So.
Yeah, basically.
It's neat. I don't play with the Rat Ogre, but it's cool.
I probably would if I played Skaven.
It's because you don't like winning games.
That's true.
Morkian Misdemeanors with Chiroplastics are a human team again. We had a lot of human teams.
They are
3-1-4, so...
7th currently in the division.
Yeah. They've got... this is a Terry Pratchett reference. Very good. Got a Guard Ogre, Guard Blitzer, Mighty Blow Blitzer, Blodge Blitzer. So again,
Guard Catcher. He got doubles in the Catcher, which is nice because now that's a movement 8 dodge guard piece. So you can put that guard basically anywhere on the field you want, which is really, really handy. It means he's less good at sort of being a straight up catcher, but it's such a good piece to have. You take like block next or whatever and make him just more likely to stand up.
And it looks like he is doing a bit of throwing because he's got Knobby Knobs with block and accurate. So he is throwing the ball occasionally to Moist von Lipwig, and Fred Colin.
I like a Lipwig being like a mustache.
Yes, Moist von Lipwig is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Is he mustachioed?
I don't think so. No, I think he's like a pretty boy. That's as I recall from the books. So. And then we have the first place team, No Comment Please, by Jemen. It's Ricky, whatever, it's Ricky. He's 6-2-1. He might be second if the other Lizard team can win, but right now he is first place. He has Student Loans 2, the Croxagore, so I'm guessing
Student Loan 1's died. I would
6
imagine.
6 games ago, though, so he's over it. 3 Blocksaurus, a Diving Tackle Sidestep Skink, and a Diving Tackle Skink, so he is DT spamming, as some skink players will, or some lizard players will do.
Is he naming his players after like his college experience? Because like
I have no idea.
Chris CRISPR and Cas9 and stuff are both like gene modification things.
They are, yes. And penicillin is, obviously. But then what is Morgan, Runman, Will Sprint, and Benedone Klingersling?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine that's
Ricky, your team confuses us.
yeah. Anyway,
Pretty decent source development.
3 block, 3-0. But one of them is getting pretty close to getting block.
Yep. So he's going for the all block start with Saurus, which is what I do as well. You really want that reliability. I don't know what. So the diving tackle sidestep skink. If that's a normal, this is when I would normally start considering firing the skinks. Third level, if it's not anything spicy, you really want to recycle them, because otherwise that's 120k invested in a skink.
That skink is worth as much as that Croxagore, basically, and is that worth it to you?
Yeah, I mean, that becomes the question. So if he rolls a double and gets block, and then he's a blodge step diving tackle piece, then that's amazing.
Yeah, then you hold on to that. If he just gets normals, there's like not even a skill that you care about here. Like, what else do you take?
There's sure feet, which is nice to get on skinks, but like, yeah, I'd consider firing it.
If it's Hindus says it's just a normal. If you can replace him, which you can, maybe you just replace him.
I mean, the only argument to keeping him for now is that you don't have a lot of skink development, and like a little bit of reliability with that sidestep, and having that diving tackle sidestep utility is nice.
It's not a cut and dry question, certainly. Especially since Hindus is saying, especially since he's going to the playoffs. And as long as keep him until the match you're about to play, will give your opponent inducements.
Yeah, if you're going to give away a wizard because of Morgan Runman, I would consider cutting him.
But until then, abuse it. It's like but that last level is kind of irrelevant. Like, there's not a whole lot, like Sure Feet, I guess, or Sprint, but neither of them are really amazing. They're just skills that are better than nothing.
Yep. And then Pazeltov, the other potential playoff coach.
Yep, with 5-1-2 Wood Elf team. No tree on this Wood Elf team.
Yeah, he's got 110k. I forget how much trees are. I think they're 120, maybe even 140. So he doesn't have enough for one yet, I don't think. He's got a plus movements catcher, so another really good one-turner.
He only has one word answer, so you probably want to spend the money on the word answer first.
Yeah, of course. So that's going to be a tackle pickup, unless the word answer rolls doubles or a stat up. Any stat up on a word answer is, generally speaking, really good.
Yep.
He's got a kick piece. He's got a wrestle lineman, dodge lineman, so a bit of variety. Yeah, so pick up a word answer, and then this is a pretty healthy looking on a Wood Elf team. Honestly.
Yeah, the word answer is probably, like you said, unless you roll something crazy, tackle is probably a good option. And then the catcher is movement 9, so he can do some nonsense. Movement 9 with sprint is 1 push away from 1 turns, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, turns out 1 push is pretty easy to get.
Yep. So it's there's not a whole lot of levels elsewhere. The only thing that would be like a really nice to have somewhere here is guard. If you could get guard on a lineman or something, that'd be amazing. But that involves doubles, so it's not amazingly likely. But that's like the only thing this team would really crave is a guard somewhere, and everything else is looking pretty good.
Yep, exactly. And then next up,
the ward answer rolled doubles apparently.
Oh, Mighty Blow.
Well, he's already strip ball. Like, he's already dedicated to being the ball hawk player or whatever.
I know, but Mighty Blow is so good. Like, you really love having that attrition piece on ward answers, and you can't guarantee that, like, you're gonna get. I mean, they're gonna get a lot of levels. I don't know. Ask Wiggy. Whatever.
Because you're only gonna get like the strip ball hit like once a half, maybe twice a half or something, and if you can use them every other turn to just blitz a player, probably the problem is you don't want him too far away from the cage, so you always have the leap in option. It's a weird question, but Mighty Blow is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
It's probably
Jeff, who by the way is the front runner in one of the lower rel divisions with what else says Mighty Blow 5 times. So
seems like Mighty Blow is the consensus here. Zarkago Bulls by Haster. They are 8th in the division currently with 2-1-5. Is opting for the Mighty Blow first Chaos Dwarf route with Mighty Blow on 2 of them. One of them is niggled, which is kind of sad, but I mean, your block, thick skull, armor 9. You're not in a massive rush to replace him, but when you have extra cash, like, you just do it.
He does now. I don't know if I'd replace him. That's actually tough. I hate having a niggle on someone who's going to be smacked, but I also hate losing Mighty Blow on
That's
dwarfs. True. But because it's early and he's only 7-16, I I'd fire him, but I feel really bad about it.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm firing you, but just to let you know that I don't really like that I'm doing it, okay?
So tackle is definitely more useful, Pazeltov. The good thing about Mighty Blow on Wood Elves is that it opens up a lot of options. It gives you, like, while you're doing the stall game and they're bashing into your screen and killing your linemen, you are also getting a bit of attrition as well, especially against like non-armor 9 teams.
Tackle will help more in the sort of bash matchups, and the Mighty Blow will change your elf on elf matchups by so much. It'll make a big difference in like the Wood Elf Mirror, or like the Wood Elf High Elf or Wood Elf Pro Elf kind of thing.
Yep. Like Jeff said, though, this is a great Bull Centaur.
Yeah, block.
Once they have block, break, tackle, like it really, like they're great pieces to start with, but they're a little unreliable. Once they have block, break, tackle, they're excellent. You can do a lot of stuff with them. Is he ball carrying on it? No. He's only scored 1 touch.
I like the Hobgoblin too. Leader Kick. Kick isn't like massive on Chaos Dwarves, but it's certainly not wrong. And the fact that you rolled doubles and took Leader to save some TV is also good. And Leader and Kick on the same piece is better because neither of those are likely to be on the line and exposed, right? That's just going to be sit in the backfield all the time to utilize that kick.
Utility piece, for sure.
Yeah, so stacking them I think is a really good idea. And it's kind of cool that happened, but not a whole lot elsewhere. So hopefully he'll get some more Chaos Dwarf blocker levels and be able to pick up some guard and stuff, and that should make things a bit easier for him.
Exactly.
So
and then we have Gogma's team, Lavender Town Library, Pokemon reference I know. So 3, and 2.
They are 5th, so dead center, Dark Elf team.
So this was the Dark Elf who asked in advice recently, is there ever too much Agi 5 on an elf team? And clearly the answer was no.
So he has 3 Agi 5 players. That's a lot of Agi 5 abuse.
Blitzer, an Agi 5 runner, and an Agi 5 lineman.
Yep. Agi 5 runner is pretty scary because that runner, they have passing access, right? Yeah, they do. So you could you could turn him into like a really weird thrower. Like, the problem is he's an elf that doesn't, like an elf quote thrower that doesn't start with like pass or accurate or anything. So you're gonna have to spend a lot of skills to get those. But Agi 5 almost makes that worth it in that you can just hurl the ball downfield like really, really accurately without too much worry with Agi 5.
Though, honestly, my favorite player on this team is the block guard lineman. That is so good.
That's a really good lineman, yeah. I thought that was a blitzer.
Yeah, I know. You're looking at that, you're like, wow, that's a pretty decent blitzer. I wonder why the skills are misordered.
Yeah, because it's a lineman.
Yeah, no. It's a really good lineman. Of course, the Agi 5 blitzer is kind of the star. Yeah.
A lot of ball carrying or potentially passing nonsense is going to happen between Haunter S. Thompson and Harper Hitmonlee.
So he's only got 1 witch, and she is a rookie. You really want to feed the witch 2 touchdowns right away to, as we said, increase the reliability of Frenzy by picking up either wrestle or block. Wrestle.
Hope for doubles and get Mighty Blow.
Yeah, I mean, you often will pick up guard on blitzers if you roll double, sometimes Mighty Blow, and definitely Mighty Blow on Witch Elves because they're really good for taking out pieces and surf threats. He's got the Blodge Blitzer, he's got the Tackle Blitzer, he's got a bit of like utility. That's often what you do with Dark Elves is pick up a kind of smattering of good first skills on the blitzers.
This like right now, it's a little bloaty because there's 3 Agi 5. But in like
no reliability skills, or very little reliability skills on those pieces at least.
Yeah, but in like in a couple games when those pieces start to get other levels, this team is going to be absolutely horrifying to play against with 3 Agi 5. For like, if you get to play them now, feel lucky that you get them before they're disgusting because they will be really gross in like a season worth of games.
The only argument against it is the fact that Dark Elves are kind of slow. They only have movement 7 and movement 6.
So slow.
It's slow by elf standards. So like their ability to like run away and long bomb is less than it is for like Wood Elves, but still Agi 5 is delightful.
Clan Cree by John Cree, the Skaven team, who are
he's not. No,
he's 10th in the division.
He's not. He's expelled.
I see.
Next up is KDEF. KDEF is
my little
the
Nurgle.
hero of this division. He
I
lost
remember this.
Beast of Nurgle and 3 Rotters in game 1, and did not rage quit. So.
And he just kept playing. So KDEF is my hero.
He has a plus Agi Rotter, which is stupid, but I love it.
That's so dumb. Even I don't think I would bother to take plus agi on a Rotter.
It's funny though. No,
It is
now
funny.
you take dirty player and he can dodge into foul people.
Man after my own heart in taking stand firm first on the Beast of Nurgle. A lot of people advocate for guard first, but I'd like stand firm first because basically your whole job as a Beast of Nurgle is to stand there and be annoying with tentacles and stuff, and just to like stick up on players and be like, look, now you have to roll dice to dodge away, haha, have fun. And then like with things like foul appearance, which it doesn't work all the time, but when it does, it's so good. And you just like dump your Beast of Nurgle into a group of players and then watch them fail to make you leave is A, amazingly fun, but B, also like really helpful. Like I've had my Beast of Nurgle tie up 4 ogres simultaneously before. Like that's ridiculous. Just because of stand firm and like foul appearance and stuff. Like it's so good.
Yep.
Speaking of so good, strength 4 Pestigore. That's strength 5 on the Blitz.
I mean, it's kind of mediocre now, but will one day be excellent. It's kind of in the Agi 5 category. Like it's good now, but it's not. It doesn't make you better at doing your job most of the time, except for like you can blitz Agi 5 piece or strength 4 pieces rather. But one day when he has claw, mighty blow, tackle, piling on, he's going to be an absolute monster.
I'm gonna be scared of Twilight Sparkle in the future. Like next level, you just take mighty blow, and then you take claw, and then you take block, and you just murder people with Twilight Sparkle.
Which is pretty great. I'm glad that Twilight Sparkle is the murderer.
Going block first on 2 of the Nurgle Warriors, which is fine. Sometimes people will take guard. Sometimes people will just go straight Mighty Blow. There's a bunch of arguments for it. I'd like to see Mighty Blow somewhere because you currently have none. But the problem is this team has been in recovery mode for 7 games, so it's a little hard to criticize. But if you can push through here, things will look real good for you with that strength 4 Pestigore, I think. But you need to push through a few games, pick up a few mighty blows, pick up a few guards, and then things will start to be a bit nicer for you going forward. KDF.
Yeah, Saima's got a point, I guess. With plus strength players, sometimes you won't take piling on simply because piling on removes your presence from the turn.
Oh, I wouldn't take piling on, no.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dr. Robert probably won't go piling on because not having a strength 5 player not be on his feet is A, asking to get fouled, and B,
oh yeah, for sure,
losing a lot of presence on a pitch control team. So
I would strength, then I would go mighty blow, and then I would go claw, and then I would go block, and then I would go tackle, and then I would consider like frenzy, maybe.
You also don't want frenzy pieces to be like, you don't want your big strength pieces to be frenzying like on the edge of the pitch. You kind of want them in the center. Where the action.
It's not for surfing. It's for having 4 dice on literally any player in the game to knock them over with Mighty Blow Claw. Like that's you will remove a player every turn. Like with that
budget pro. In that case, so yeah, good looking team, and the record's not bad. I mean, considering he had the attrition he took early on, I mean, he just kept losing players. He's got 1 win, 3 draws, and 4 losses. Not
bad. Guard is an option, but I'd prefer guard on the Nurgle Warriors over the Pestigores because the Pestigores have to do so much other work. Like you need a ball carrier one, you need a blitzer one. Like it's very difficult to start dedicating them to other things when you only have 2 this early. And potentially like only 3 or 4, even at high levels. They're your only movement. You need them to do other stuff.
Yeah. Next up is Gangsta Reptiles, which is Soxy.
Yep.
It shows his records at 8-0 because he joined as a late addition to the division, and he inherited someone else's record that wasn't terrible. So that's why he's at the top of the league. But he hasn't lost a game since he joined, which is nice. He's got a plus movement skink. He's got a blodge sidestep sure feet skink, which is excellent. I have one of those too. They're lovely.
Yeah, that's the skink you don't fire because doubles.
Yeah, exactly. Doing a lot of work. Guard Crocs, standard stuff. Blodge Saurus. There was a lot of discussion about whether this should be blodge or whether this should be tackle. He decided to build for the long run. So Blodge, Saurus eventually become amazing support pieces.
He's going to be slow to level up probably, but he got the thing is he got blocked first, which is what's important. Like I wouldn't take dodge first on a Saurus while you want.
It sucks.
Yeah.
He was dodge game 2 and he was blodge game like 16.
Yeah,
so.
It's the dodge slows down your level up so much. So if you're gonna do this, make sure you have block first, and he does. So that's gonna it's slightly slower than anything else, but in the long run, it'll be good. And this is only a college team, so he still has minors to go as well as then before going to majors. So plenty of games to level up Fiffy.
Yep. And then 4 Block Source, super nice. He's pretty close to Ice Cube and 2-pack leveling as well.
Yeah, MVP and Kaz respectively.
Yeah, not too bad. We'll see how his game versus the Dark Elves go.
Yeah, this top 3 teams are basically all pretty likely to go to playoffs here, regardless of results. They'll shuffle around who's 1, 2, and 3, but even like a third place is likely to be 6, 1, and 2 here. So that's pretty much a wild card spot as far as I can tell. So worst case, I think all 3 of these teams are probably going to end up there.
Yep. And then we have Europe A. I'm going to pop by the bathroom, but I'll be back in a second.
Sure, I will take a look at the schedule first. The only team that has played so far is Last of the Disco and Vermin of Metal. And then we look at the leaderboard, and we see Last of the Disco is comfortably in first with 8-0-1. And the Mutated Ninja Dwarfs are 8-0-0. So this is basically locked down as well between Press Wilfa. I hope I got that right. I think you're in chat, so I don't know if that's correct. And the White Dwarf have this division under their thumbs because even third place is 3, 2, and 3. So no matter what happens, they're not taking first or second away, and they're also very likely not going to be one of the wildcard spots because, as we saw in Europe B, a wildcard spot was at 6 wins, so 3 wins is probably not good enough. So we've got Press Wilfa and the White Dwarf got this division under control. So let's go take a look at the teams, and we'll start with one of the current top team in the division, Last of the Disco, the Dark Elves. Speaking of Agi on Dark Elves, wow, because there's some more Agi, and it's on Witch Elves. Wrestle, so you've got an Agi wrestle piece, which is Agi dodge wrestle piece. So that is a like pseudo war dancer in a way, right? Very good at with frenzy and wrestle, super good at removing the ball from players. So likely in the future you'll probably pick up like tackle or strip ball or something, and just really have that ball hawk with Gladys. You could get your first place back. Depends on how well you win. You haven't played yet, right?
Talking about Press's team
and
the Disco.
Yep, they're currently him and Press and White Dwarf have the division under lock and key with 8-0-1 and 8-0-0. So White Dwarf could technically go to first if he wins his game against Power of Plague this week, but either way those two are going to playoffs, and the third place probably isn't making it. But yeah, we're talking about I just was talking about the Agi 5 wrestle Witch Elf and how that could be a really good ball hawk come picking up tackle or strip ball.
I mean, or you could even get leap for like.
Yeah, leap is a good option when you're Agi 5. Certainly it's 2+ leaps.
Yep. I mean, even Agi 5 dodging into a cage is not awful. That's what, a 3+? Nah.
4.
In a standard, yeah, it's a 4+ in a standard game.
But frenzy, wrestle, and then strip ball basically is you're so guaranteed to remove the ball. Like, it's really hard to not remove it. We've got a tackle blodge blitzer and a tackle mighty blow blitzer. So those are the tackle one is more of a sort of support piece at this point because you're going to be wanting to do all of the blitzing with the mighty blow guy if you have the chance to. And the tackle makes the knockovers much more likely. So probably guard on Caradog at some point. And
it's a double.
Oh yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting that not all blitzers are strength.
Bro.
Yeah, if you can get guard, that would be amazing.
Yeah, a guard on Ianto, the blodge piece would be perfect.
Or on
like
Caradog, yeah.
Caradog is really good for marking people up. You could go sidestep next,
yep.
To get like a side, and then maybe diving tackle as like a 4th level up. But like, yeah, he's a really good piece in general for taking out when you need something to go down. And Owain is amazing for attrition. Like, yep. You've got Agified, you've got Mighty Blow. This is a really, really good dark.
Blodge lineman, block lineman, dodge lineman, and a kick lineman. So basically all you need on the lineman too. There's only one without a level, and who cares really? You've got blodge line fodder. Like, come on.
This team is gross. Good job. and you are 8-0-1. So no surprise there.
Vermin of Metal by Beer Can Skaven. They are. I didn't look at their record. Not that it matters too much in this division. They are 4th with 3-1-5, which shows you what this division is like.
Yep. Where a horns plus strength gutter runner is.
Oh man!
So the fact that he went horns first and then into plus strength is so very lucky.
That's strength 4 on the blitz from a gutter runner. That's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
Wrestle. I mean, you can get strip ball next and remove the ball from anyone you want whenever. And even when you're not doing that, you can just blitz people with strength 4 and still get 2 dies.
Ain't bad.
Disgusting. 2 throwers is interesting. You don't normally see 2 throwers on a rat team.
Yeah, because they don't do a lot. You'll carry on the thrower before handing off or passing to a gutter runner usually.
Yep.
So having 2 doesn't really give you a ton of extra utility. He's now got an extra movement 8 piece because of it, but I don't know that that's really worth it.
Is it worth 100k?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're very expensive pieces. 70k.
2 heads gutter runner is another. That's also really good. Sort of pseudo agi 5 for dodging.
Yep. Really excellent with the weird extra jaw below.
Yeah, gutter runners with 2 heads are weird. There's just kind of a jaw there, and I don't really understand it. It's just an extra mouth coming off his chin. It's not really a head. I don't understand. This is like the worst mutation animation in the game, I think. It just looks dumb.
Tentacles on an underworld troll.
Certainly,
it takes up like a quarter of your screen. It's stupid, but it's great.
I like 2 heads on a rotter.
Yeah, with their little tummy head.
That's
great. Storm Vermin, block guard. Usually you go Mighty Blow first because you really want those to be your killers.
It turns out when you have a strength 4 gutter runner, though, you can use that guard to pretty reliably remove the ball from anywhere you want, though, which is kind of good.
Right, but Storm Vermin aren't about removing the ball. Storm Vermin.
No, you use the guard piece to assist on the strength 4 gutter runner blitz.
You don't need it though. He's strength 4. What do you need assist for? You take away the corners. You blitz into the cage. I mean, it's not a great blitz into the cage though. It's a 55%. But yeah, anyway. Good looking team. 2 movement busted line rats. I just fire them.
If you can replace them, yeah. Worst case, they're line fodder anyway.
I guess how
so
many
who
players
cares?
do you have? 1, 2, 6, 8, 12. No, you keep them around because they give you a bench, which means you don't have to field some squishy gutter runners or your extra throwers if you don't want to.
And they're line fodder anyway. Like, who cares? If you can replace them at some point, sure, but it's not really a priority.
Nope.
Springfield FC by Sir Trevor McD. Amazon team. I remember being surprised at this. They're in 3rd with 3-2-3. So if that tells you anything about how serious the top 2 of this division are, nothing will.
Yep. I don't know anything about Amazon teams other than I know they're very good early, they're very annoying, and they spam guard so that they can keep up a little bit in the long run.
Yep. Not a whole. The catcher has blocks, so now it's blodge. So now you've got 5 blodge players on the team, which is super annoying. One of the catchers has picked up guard, which is nice. There's guard number 1, and one of the blitzers has picked up mighty blow and plus movement. So that's also pretty good. Like the way that Amazons keep up is either with stupid stat ups or with guard, and you don't really have much of either yet, but you also don't have a ton of levels. So you're getting there, but you need a bit more to make this team. The Amazons are super good early, and we're getting to the point where other teams are going to be able to deal with your dodge, so you need to keep up with that with like guard or stat ups or something, and you don't quite have that yet, but getting close. You got at least 1 guard, and a mighty blow is going to help out a lot, especially against the sort of elfie matchups where you can bully them real hard, and that's going to be amazing. So many blodge against elves will be super nice. Bash teams you might have a bit of trouble with, especially since some of them are going to be picking up tackle by now, but as long as you don't run into too much tackle, you should be doing okay.
Yep. Like Saima was saying, you don't usually see the throwers. They're not the best pieces. Reliable throwing on Amazon is not something they do very easily.
No, they're just linemen. They're linemen with an extra skill that costs 20k more. So they're basically just a leveled lineman where you don't get to pick what the skill is.
In that regard.
Yeah, it's a leveled lineman where you don't get to pick up what the skill is. Like, or you don't get to choose what the skill is. So if you really wanted to throw her, you could just level a line woman and take pass, and it's exactly the same.
Well, they don't have passing access, but yes.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, not really that common, honestly. But some people will do it, but I don't think it's a common thing. Like the throwing game on Amazon's is not amazing. You more abuse the blodge and do a running game.
Yeah, but if the thrower had sure hands from the start, Amazons would be even more excellent out of the box, which is not something they
Oh
really
yeah,
do
if
well
if
in.
that thrower was dodge shore hands for 70K, I would take that on every team ever, and then they would be gross. They're already pretty gross at TV 1000, and that would be even worse.
And then we have Power of Plague, which is another Nurgle team for you to talk about.
Yeah, they are 3-1-4, sixth place in the division, coached by
They have a plus
Poobles.
movement Beast of Nurgle. Discuss.
Um, I think that broke me a little bit. I don't know. Like, on the one hand, the number of times I've really wished I've had an extra movement on the Beast of Nurgle to like get him to that annoying spot, without a GFI. Like, there's been a number of times where that has mattered to me, but what I wanted as a first skill, I don't think so. I think I would like. That's the problem with stat ups. Like when you get them, you kind of want to take them because you might not ever get them again. But I would rather have guard or stand firm over plus movement. But would I like to have plus movement on the Beast of Nurgle at some point? Probably. The issue is like the movement helps you get him into that annoying position, but once you get him into the annoying position, you never want to move him again, and then that movement is useless because he's not moving anymore.
Yep, I would not take it as anything other than a fourth or fifth level, which.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have taken it honestly as the first skill, but you can certainly get use out of it. Like it's not bad, but I think it's not necessarily optimal.
And there's another Elf Rodder. Look at that, Agi4 Rodder. Beautiful.
I don't know why. Why are people taking Agi4 Rotters? Like you don't want to carry on them. The Pestigors are more reliable at their movement 6. Their B horns, so you can actually like blitz your way out of trouble if you need to. Where are my stat ups? I don't get stat ups on Nurgle players. I haven't gotten any. Every Nurgle team we've looked at has got stat ups. That's a strength 4 block Pestigor. So you're currently ball carrying on him 100% of the time. But the moment you pick up like Mighty Blow, I would switch to ball carrying on Billy and start just blitzing people with Huey. It's debatable whether you take block or Mighty Blow first. Some people do Mighty Blow just to hope you get lucky and remove players. But I think the block is fine here. What I would do in this situation is I would ball carry on Huey until he levels again, and then I would pick up Mighty Blow, and then I would start ball carrying on Billy and level him and use Huey as the punchy player. You've got no Nurgle Warrior levels yet, which is a little sad. But he's got 2 that are really close. Getting some guard would be nice. Getting some Mighty Blow would be nice. You really need removals as Nurgle players.
Yep.
And you don't
I
have
really like
any
the
yet.
Naming scheme. As an aside, Huey Fluis is a great name.
It is, yes.
Yeah, good Nurgle team. I mean, a 50% win, 50-ish% win draw percentage as Nurgle, early Nurgle is, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have taken the Agi or the movement, but they're not like super wrong. It's just like the Agi only really
you can't afford early bloat on Nurgle as they are already
bloaty.
Useless and bloaty.
Yeah, the problem with the Rodder is you're never going to ball carry on him unless you absolutely have to, so that Agi doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it just lets you dodge. Then there's the Rat Street Boys by Malcolm DW. 3 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. 3 wins is really the standard of this division.
Yep. They're currently 5th in the division.
Yep. Blodge Gutter Runner has a level up. Probably Sure Hands or Sidestep. He's already got a Sidestep one, so.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ball.
Busted Gutter Runner. He doesn't. Well, I mean, the ball carrier.
He doesn't have a ball like Hawk Gutter Runner yet. Is what I mean.
Yeah, usually you alternate. You do 1 block, 1 wrestle, 1 block, 1 wrestle because you really want to start building those gutter runners. So going both block early on is a bit unusual.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the piece to abuse. Like rats change their playstyle so much depending on what levels you have, and the like ball hawk gutter runner is one of those pieces. Right, like the moment your opponent makes a positioning mistake, you just remove the ball from them, and you don't have that option yet because you don't have that piece.
Yep. So like to see probably I don't even know if you want Sure Hands. You don't really need it on gutter runners because you don't pick up. You pick up with the thrower. Sidestep is fine. I don't know what else you take, honestly, unless you got a double.
Oh, hope
Storm
for
Vermin is,
movement.
yeah, I mean, that would
You
be
could always
nice.
do sprint or sure feet.
It's true. I mean, they're already one push away from a one-turner, so Storm Vermin is probably going to get Mighty Blow unless he rolls Claw. He's got a guard Line Rat, which is excellent. He's got an accurate thrower, so he's doing a bit of passing. It's not unheard of for a Skaven to do short passes. The thrower is only Agi 3, so you can't go too crazy, but the Gutter Runners are great receivers.
And gutter runners can also pass too, right? They're edgy 4. It's pretty likely to
They're
work.
not stunty. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but he's building the thrower as a passer, so. He's got a kick lineman and a guard lineman, or dirty player rather. I was going to say no kick, which is unusual. You'd like to pick that up, as discussed earlier.
The guard is really nice though. It helps a bit with the ball sacking sort of part of the game, especially when you don't have a gutter runner built to do it yet.
Yep.
So that'll be nice. And it'll help a lot with the Storm Vermin because he's going to pick up Mighty Blow, and now you don't need to dedicate like both Storm Vermin or like whatever to getting nice blocks, because you'll have a Line Rat that can shove in there and use guard to assist the Mighty Blow Storm Vermin.
Yep. I just want to point out we're having carnitas for dinner, so there is like orange pork roast or shoulder, like slow roasting in the oven right now, and it is killing me.
Oh.
But it was delicious. So yeah, I would like Sean to have kick over dirty player, but you'll get kick eventually, and dirty player is nice because you can cause a bit of attrition before you get the Mighty Blow pieces online.
Knobbly Knights by Lufish, Bretonian team.
They're trash. Just move on.
Yeah, it's true. They're currently in last, to be honest. They're 1, 2, and 5. So that was
just a joke.
That was a little mean.
Wasn't mean. You got a Mighty Blow lineman. That's Mimi. I like it. You're building.
He's got doubles on both of his blitzers so far to pick up 2 Mighty Blow, which is really nice.
Oh yeah, they don't have strength access. I always forget.
They do not. So that's really nice.
I would have probably made one of them guard. Because it's nice to have the extra guard pieces, especially as he only has 2 blockers, because Lufish was the one who had the non-ideal 1 blocker start, I think.
I think both the Bretonian teams did.
Or the other one just lost blockers, because they're only armor 8, which they do go down sometimes. So the Mighty Blow lineman probably should have been guard, but it's funny.
That's true, yeah. I like seeing people getting punched by Dooley the Peasant.
Punched and killed, ideally.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the really good peasant face, though, so mixed feelings. Actually, I don't think any of them. Oh, Dabbit, I think, is the best peasant face. Anyway. Yeah, they're all very dopey looking. You'd like to see a bit more development on the blitzers, but he had a rough season. He still only got 2 rerolls, so that has something to do with it. This sitting on 1 cheerleader. Fire that cheerleader, probably.
Yeah, the Mighty Blow on the blitzers is really good, and it'll help a lot going into the future, and it'll also help leveling them up a lot faster. But until then, it's going to be hard. Like, you don't have the skills required to like win games. You have the skills required to like help you develop, but you don't have the skills required to help you win. So you'll get there eventually, but for now, it's going to be rough, I think.
Yeah, and one of the strengths of Brett's is that they're really strong out of the box because of their 4 blockers. So if you don't start with those 4 blockers, it's not surprising that you're a little down in wins.
Yeah, it turns out starting with 4 block pieces and 4 wrestle pieces is pretty good.
Pretty decent.
Mutated Ninja Dwarfs, coached by the White Dwarf, the other team that is currently locked up in the 2 playoff spots. Currently in second, potentially could be in first if they win their game, because they haven't played their game yet this week. This is a much more developed Chaos Dwarf team compared to the ones that we've looked at so far.
Yeah, he's been winning his games pretty handily. So he's got a Blodge, Bull Centaur, a Blocked Bull Centaur, 3 Guard, and 2 Mighty Blow. This is what you'll often see, is a mix of Guard and Mighty Blow on the Chaos Dwarf blockers. The argument against Guard as a first skill on Chaos Dwarf blockers, because we didn't discuss this earlier, is that Dwarf blockers are praying for doubles for Claw, and if you go Guard Claw is kind of an awful combination. Like, it's fine, but it doesn't really complement what that player wants to be doing. So
yeah. But the other argument is that like you want Guard because that's how dwarves win stuff.
It's true. So
although it's a bit different on Chaos Dwarves because you have that Strength 4 Bull Centaur stuff if you want to use it. But a lot of people will be using their Bull Centaurs as either blitzing or ball carrying instead of being like involved in the big O scrum that the Chaos Dwarf blockers are going to get involved in, and that's where guard helps. So you don't really have as much of a strength advantage as you think, because those bull centaurs are probably not going to actually be involved in that part of the game, which is the argument for guard, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the question of development versus what wins you games.
Yep.
He's got a sure hands hobgoblin, so he's probably carrying on that. I just realized I didn't move my mic in front of my face, so I've probably been a little quiet.
It's been okay until very recently when there was like a loud screaming sound in the background.
It's a coffee grinder.
Okay.
It's done now. It's fine.
But yeah, that's like all the other dwarf teams we've looked at so far haven't barely had any development on the Chaos Dwarfs, and this one has a level on all of them except for one. So this team is looking really good.
It's a scary team.
No break tackle on the bulls or anything yet, but there's two block, which make them a lot more reliable. So that's good.
Yeah, he'll get break tackle as his next skill
for the dodge one for sure.
Well, probably on both, to be honest.
Unless you roll, yeah. Sure hands is an option, just to save a reroll on the pickups, but it's like that's more of a luxury, and you don't really need it yet.
Yeah, the strip ball hobgoblin is
weird.
An interesting choice. It is.
If you were going to go that route with the hobgoblin, I think I would have started wrestle rather than strip ball.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird utility piece at this point. So you can use it as a threat if like you ever end up with a really engaged cage, and you can do a cheeky one die. It's not what I would have gone with. Yeah, like you said, I think wrestle is the standard first pickup. If you're going to do a ball hawk hobgoblin, which are not the best ball hawks in the first place.
And
still,
yeah,
like,
it has the other
brings up
benefits in
another
that it'll put people on the ground more likely, and then you have two dirty player hobgoblins that can take advantage of that.
Yeah. Right now, he's fine throwing. Yeah. This is fine.
And there's a sure hands hobgoblin, which is also strange. If you're going to be carrying on the bulls, which he probably is with block dodge.
No, he's not. I think the blodge. He might be doing handoffs, but what you'll often do as dwarfs is you'll pick up the ball with the hobgoblin and then screen off and use your bull centaur strength to your advantage as you push up the field, and then you might do a handoff to a bull centaur and have him run it into the end zone, especially as he is a pseudo movement 9.
True.
But it's not uncommon to have a sure hands hobgoblin holding it in the backfield while you try to cause some attrition on offense. So
if you're doing that though, that I'd really like to see that sure hands hobgoblin get blocked or something, just so he's less likely to go down, because he's going to be having the ball, and that's the ball being carried on like a movement 6, strength 3, armor 7 blockless player.
Yeah, you wouldn't carry it on. This is for like purely like for bash matchups, right? Where where the likelihood of a surprise ball hit is very low. So you know when your ball is safe and when your ball isn't, so you can carry it on this sure hands goblin until it isn't safe, and then you give it to a bull centaur.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just kind of scary to like be dedicated to carrying the ball on that hobgoblin without any other sort of skills, but I see the reasoning for it, certainly.
Yep.
Worm fodder.
We haven't done America's B yet. We're doing it backwards.
Nope. Worm fodder by Mr. Plasmid. I see him in the Discord all the time too. 7th in the division as an undead team with 305. He's got a fouling skeleton. I like it.
Yeah, well, he loves skeletons. We talked about this. He's got one zombie, and the rest are skeletons because he likes them more.
I mean, that's fine. There's some people do that with undead. I've seen it. You just kind of have to play it a little bit differently. Like with zombies, people will just dump zombies on players and be like, here, look, Mr. Croxagore, have a zombie to play with. Here, Mr. Saurus, have a zombie to play with. And just get people stuck and then rely on the armor 8 to sort of keep you like just being annoying. Skeletons, you play a bit more elfy, and you sort of do screens rather than just basing players, because the armor 7 is likely to go down, but the movement 5 over the movement 4 means you can screen off a little bit easier with them. So you kind of do like a more of a screen defense than a just here have zombies defense if you play with skeletons. And I've seen it done to success. It's not like wrong, certainly, but the sort of easier play style, I think, like the more forgiving one, is zombies.
Yeah, well, also your LOS becomes a lot scarier.
Yeah,
like
that's
with
true.
armor 7, even thick skull regen, you're gonna lose skeletons.
Yeah, the other thing is that if you're going the skeleton route, it's probably still useful to have 3 zombies for the blind fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see you later, press. Thanks for checking it out. 2 whites with no levels yet, but they're 1 SPP away, so we're likely to see some guard or some guard or mighty blow there, especially since the mummies have picked up stand firm over guard.
Yeah, guard is definitely the better first pickup. It really opens a lot of options. Like, you just stick those mummies against a wall of people, and it gives you really easy blocks, and they're super annoying to deal with. Like, stand firm is a great second pickup, but
yeah, there's an argument to be made either way. Like, that's stand firm or guard first on big guys. Basically, I mean, the pseudo big guys in this case are basically the two skills that people pick, and I think guard is better first in most cases. Stand firm is better on stuff like potentially, like the Beast of Nurgle, definitely, in my opinion, potentially a Crocs, because like you just get people places and then use prehensile tail and that kind of stuff. I think guard is better first on the mummies, but without nega traits, it's not too bad to have mummies that are just kind of stuck standing places. But I think I would have taken guard first.
Agreed.
Movement 8 Ghoul and Small Boy is pretty nice, especially that he's sure hands. Pick up block next or more movement or whatever, and that's already a terrifying Ghoul. And a Blodge Ghoul and Green Boy is also really good. Blodge is good skill. Blodge is good skill. Skeletor, the Dirty Player Skeleton, also good. You have a bunch of skeletons, you have a bench, you have 13 players. You should be stomping on people every turn with that skeleton until you no longer have a player advantage.
Yep. And then we have Old New York Sewer Rats by Londinium.
Yep, they are... Where are they? They are 9th with 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah, bit of a rough start, but they do have 2 Agi 5 Gutter Runners.
Ooh, what's with all these Agi Gutter Runners? What's all these Agi everything? College is full of stat ups.
It took me like 20 games to get a stat up on my Lizards.
I've never gotten a stat up on my Nurgle.
Yep. So they got Blodge, Gutter Runner, Wrestle, Gutter Runner, like we said, alternating is good. Mighty Blow, Storm Vermin, a Wrestle Agi 5 Gutter Runner. So again, that's going to be a Ball Hawk. The Brain 2 could be anything, really.
Yeah, a lot of options for that. Pinky is
Another
likely going to
Mighty
pick
Blow.
up Tackle or Strip Ball next and be terrifying and annoying.
Yep.
Another Mighty Blow, Storm Vermin. Both of them are hoping to get doubles to pick up Claw, but if not, Guard is a good option.
Yep, or Tackle as well.
Yep.
You tend to want to give them all the kill skills so they can get as many levels as possible to hopefully get Claw. Thrower with no levels makes sense. Lineman with Kick, and a lineman with Block to keep him alive longer. Yep. Good rat team. Hopefully he has better luck winning games in the future because he's got some good development going on.
Yeah, it's the sort of the curse that we get a lot with early stat ups, in that they will be really good once you have other skills, but at the start it's harder to take advantage of them when you don't have stuff like Block, Strip Ball, Wrestle, all that kind of stuff.
Ones still happen, it turns out.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes from a 2+ or a 3+ to a 2+, but sometimes you can still roll ones, and without the skills to make up for it, it can be kind of hard to utilize that stat up early game, unless that setup is strength, because strength is just always good, basically. So in a few more games, maybe next season, this will be a pretty terrifying rat team to play against with all that Agi 5, but I would expect him to do a lot better in minors or in next season than he did in college with with a bit more development on this team.
Yeah, tell me about it. America C, it is our old stomping ground. This is the division we came from. And up at the top is True Blue, who, because he's trash, has drawn a game. So we don't need to talk about him anymore.
It's a bit closer, though. 7-1 is like the second place is still up. Or let's see, who hasn't played yet? None of them. So we still have matches to go. Second place is still up in the air between Peaceful Massagers, Horkin Beans, Blitzy Ricks.
Well, if Manflesh loses and Das Doge wins, then they will be tied for second. So that'll come down to the TD differential and then some other stuff if that's tied.
And with 5 wins in third place might be good enough for the...
I don't think so, but maybe.
It maybe. So the top 3 there still have potential to rotate around a little bit. I think True Blue has this locked up for first place, but Manflesh and Das Doge have second place. A battle for second place coming up. Certainly, see who ends up there.
Yep. getting into the teams, the first one is Laketown Herd by Flarenock. So this is a early Chaos team, and it has sustained some damage, unfortunately.
They are 8th with 2-1 and 5. So not a whole lot of levels there. Sure Hands first on a Beastman, which honestly I don't like too much. Especially when you have this many Beastmen, right? That's, you get what, 6, 7, 8, however many. He has an extra one.
You get at least 7.
Yeah,
unless you take a Minotaur.
Yeah, so with 7 and like an Agi up being, or like doubles or something, like being a doubles is a 1 in 6. And Agi up is what, 2 in 36 or whatever. So with 7 or 8 Beastmen, you're pretty likely to get Agi or doubles on at least one of them. So I like to start with Block or Mighty Blow or something like that. That's kind of useless or useful regardless. And then the moment one of them rolls doubles or Agi or something, you can start dedicating that player to being the ball carrier and then pick up Sure Hands. Thankfully, he wasn't punished because he got doubles immediately afterwards and picked up Dodge. So it doesn't really matter.
A Dodge Sure Hands ball carrier is weird until it gets block in 5 SPP. In 5 SPP, it'll be great.
Yep. But
without
that's
block, you're a bit of a target.
Yeah, and that's why I like to pick up Block first, because it's kind of universally useful, and then, or Mighty Blow if you want to, or whatever, to help them level. And then once you see one of them roll doubles or agility, then you get Sure Hands, and that becomes your ball carrier. But like dedicating Sure Hands instantly, I don't think is as good.
Yeah, agreed. He's got a movement busted block Chaos Warrior. It's not an immediate fire.
Nope. Because especially since it's block, hold on to that for now.
Hold on to it, but I would. The problem is that the block. This is the most reliable piece on his team, and it's movement 4. So like,
it depends on what he wants to do.
You want to
I guess.
avoid developing it more. I mean, if it ends up being a guard stand there piece, that's fine. But I wouldn't want to focus any development right now on it.
Yeah.
Is this just a MNG?
I mean, I think he loses Apo rights. But you still. But I would keep playing with him. But then again, I also play Nurgle, where the Chaos Warriors are movement 4 anyway. So it's like I would just lose Apo rights on him. And if you ever find yourself with an abundance of money and nothing to do with it, then replace him. But you need to use that block for now, I think. Let's see. We've got Claw first on the Beastmen, which we've talked about before, unless you're going up against a bunch of Armor 9, which can happen. Mighty Blow first is probably better, but depends on what the teams you're facing are like. Definitely his next skill is going to be Mighty Blow, and then you have a nice killer piece.
I think I would fire this movement busted 3 SPP guy, though. You don't need him.
No. He's... Yeah.
You're already at 11, like you don't have a bench anyway this game.
Yeah, I would fire him. It'll give you a loner because you're at 12 and one of them is missed next game, so you're at 11. So if you fire him, you go down to 10 and you get a loner. But I think I would rather a loner Beastman that you just shove on the line rather than a movement 5 Beastman, because that loner you can shove on the line, you can use him to provide assists or whatever.
I mean, and if he gets MVP, you buy him, and if he doesn't, then you fire him, and it's fine. But if Rexar gets MVP, then suddenly you've got a leveled minus movement blitz or Beastman that you're kind of sad about.
Yeah, Wrestle Beastman, another good pickup. He's going to start building him as like wrestle tackle probably to go after ball stuff, which is pretty good. He needs some more development. A lot of it, unfortunately, is on Walgore the Beastman, and that's because he's scoring all the touchdowns. So that's probably because you went Sure Hands first, because now you're going to want to pick it up with the Sure Hands guy, and you're less likely to like have somebody else pick it up because it's way more safe to do that way. And then he starts scoring all your touchdowns, and he steals all your SPP, and it can just exacerbate the issue from there. So try to start doing some handoffs. You know, pick up with Walgore to make it easier, but start trying to do some handoffs to see if you can get some of the other Beastmen leveled.
Yep, exactly. So like not the best early development, but early chaos suck, and sometimes your team implodes, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Peaceful Massagers, coached by Manflesh, currently in 2nd.
So this is a different chaos start, a more a luckier or more successful one. Either way,
he's got 2 Sure Hands, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, he's just saying "fuck you," I think.
Yeah, I'm still like, I don't like Sure Hands first, and this guy took Sure Hands first twice. Although, like, is it just the theme, right? Like the Peaceful Massagers, like extra arms, Sure Hands, they make the massaging better, right?
Oh, he might not be going kill chaos. Like it might be he's like, I'm gonna go a weird utility
mutation chaos because that's more fun.
And it's
If
also
so-
peaceful massagers, right? They're peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. They're peaceful. Kudos. I hope that's what you're doing. I forgot to mention, Flarenok, fire your 2 coach assistants and 2 cheerleaders because I get shit from chat every time I don't say that.
I like it. This is funny. Two wrestle, 2 block, sure hands, extra arms, block, guard. I think this is hilarious, and I really like it. And it's clearly working for you so far. So good on you, Manflesh. I think this is really fun.
Yeah, just go like hardcore pitch control chaos. That would be really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it is, but it's funny.
And I have no idea how to play it, so it's going to be really hard for me to like comment on what levels to take here.
Oh, and then mutations, you can turn them into Nurgle warriors. You can get disturbing presence and foul appearance.
Yeah, you can get extra
That would be
arms. You can
terrible.
get big hands, 2 heads.
It would be terrible, just so we're clear. Yeah, just roll plus agi on all of your beastmen, and then you have like weird mutation access elves.
This is
Man,
fun, and I like it. I don't know how to. I can't really comment on it too much, but I really appreciate what you're doing here, Manflesh. Yeah, I know that extra arms are better for. Or they also help for catching and intercepting, but like he has nobody to pass, and he's not like it's not extra arms. 99% of the time is taken to make your pickup a 2+ because oh fuck, I didn't roll agi, right? Like that's what extra arms is 99% of the time on a chaos team. So let's go on to the True Blue and Ghoul Busters in first place with 701, right? Or 710. He's got a draw.
710. Got a draw.
Human team.
Yep. Stubing's the ogre. Is this new? Because he doesn't have any. No, he's got played 8 matches and has 0 SPP.
That's
what
unfortunate.
A fail of an ogre.
He's a terrible ogre.
Yep. What isn't a terrible blitzer though is the strength 4 one. Strength 4 guard. Gross.
Yeah. Yeah,
Michael
he's going to be really
Tackle.
hard to remove with strength 4 and guard.
Yep. He's going very support heavy on the humans, so he's playing kind of like a pitch control, like heavy guard, really
And that's
kind of
fine.
like oppressive play with humans. It makes sense. You got a lot of strength access players, so it's really good. He got a guard.
Yeah, you got one. He's got 1 blitzer player, right? You only get 1 blitz a turn, so you just use it, Joey, to do that blitz every turn, and then everybody else is for guarding and being annoying with stand firm, strength, guard. He's even got a guard catcher for the movement 8 put guard where you really want it. Probably partners up with Joey a lot to do 2-die blitzes on stuff.
Yeah. And he's got a guard lineman, so
Yeah,
lots of guards.
as Slarknado says, it's impressive that he has played 8 games and gotten 0 SPP, no Kaz, no MVP, nothing.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He's just a selfless guy, you know. He's like, it's fine, you do it, you get the SPP, whatever. Guard stand firm, great combo. That blitzer is really hard to remove when he's giving support.
Yep.
So you've got a highly mobile guard piece, you've got an immovable guard piece, and you've got a disposable guard piece. It's like the trifecta of beautiful guard
And a
pieces.
strength guard piece.
Yes, and the plus strength guard piece.
Kick
Right.
lineman, dirty player lineman, and then the downside there is that you don't want the dirty player or kick on the line really, because you want them to be able to move and do the fouling or do the kicking, which means you're putting the guard lineman on the line. But that's not terrible, I guess. You could put the dirty player on the line, but
player on the line.
then he's not likely to actually foul, and it's less
Yeah, but
good.
you're less likely to foul on defense anyway.
That's true. But if he dies,
But yeah,
that's rough.
your problem right now is that your team is too good, so your LOS sucks.
Yeah, I hate that. I have that with my Nurgle now, and it's awful. So I only have 2 Rotters that I can put on the line, because everything else I have is positionals. Do I just not field a Pestigore on defense? It's so
Lizards
bad.
always have to field put their LOS players as their best players, so whatever. Not having disposable players kind of sucks.
So True Blue is saying that the ogre always blocks last because bonehead, and sometimes it just doesn't work because he will be blocking last or he will have bonehead.
That's just how big guys are. Yeah.
So that's good
what's,
play.
What's
but
this level up on Lights Out? Is it a double? Is it a standard? If it's a standard, I guess you'd get another. Or not activating him. Yeah, because that's just the ideal thing is they get an MVP and a Kaz early, and they pick up guard or stand firm or one of the annoying skills, and then they never get SPP again because big guys don't really need it beyond like a first or 2 level ups usually. So okay, you're getting tackle. That makes sense.
It's normal. Yeah, tackle makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, you just park him next to people. The tackle will be more for making it hard for people to dodge rather than hitting people, because that'll be Joey doing that. But you certainly have another tackle option, which is really good.
Yep.
More than one, having more than one tackle is always good.
And then we have Your Wolf, the Bifrost Guardians.
They
Norse
are
team.
7th with 3, 1, and 4.
They have a Claw Mighty Blow Yeti. In fact, they have a Claw Guard Mighty Blow Yeti.
That's really good.
Who is 2 SPP away. I feel like there's a lot of blitzing going on with this Yeti, which
I mean, I
sometimes
would.
you have to. I mean, he's wild animal and he kills things.
Man, I would blitz every turn with this Yeti. He's Frenzy, Claw, Mighty Blow, Juggernaut. He doesn't have Juggernaut yet. Get Juggernaut, and then blitz every turn with Frosty the Yeti.
Yeah, it's also why both of his Ulfs are unleveled and both of his Berserkers are unleveled. So, you know,
Hey,
he's a
trade-offs.
walking advertisement for why this trade-off is kind of rough.
It's so good though. If he gets in 4 SPP and he picks up, if he doesn't get blocked, you pick up Juggernaut, and then like you just blitz every turn.
Good? Fucking Mighty Blow piling on Berserkers.
Yeah, but I like Claw.
I know you do, but
Well, if you have both, the option is there because then you use the Mighty Blow piling on against elves and you use the Claw against like orcs and
doesn't
stuff.
have both.
Yeah, but you should.
Blitzes with the big guy.
Yeah, and blitzing with the big guy is awesome when it's a Yeti.
Right. We're done here. Ulfs don't have block yet. That's a little unfortunate. Are they new or they just haven't gotten SPP? Nope, they just haven't gotten. This is another Ulf. 8 games, 0 SPP isn't a big guy. So, you know, it's not just ogres.
Yeah, that's not great. It's some more development on other okay, honestly, like in reality, I would have rather had that Yeti be Mighty Blow or Guard and then the other SPP spread out. But the fact that he is Mighty Blow and Guard, I would use him a lot now, which is probably a problem because you want SPP to go on other people, and now he's doing the hitting.
Yeah, you're kind of forced into this now.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it because it's fun and I think it's good. But in reality, it's probably better if you traded that Guard or Mighty Blow out for a skill on one of the Ulfs or on the Berserker.
Yep. You've got a movement busted lineman with kick. It's not a big deal.
No, he's kick anyway.
Yep, you've got an MNG Berserker, which is going to be a little rough for next game, but not too bad. Norse team is in pretty good shape, all things considered. Sometimes Norse implodes, and he has not. So.
Yeah, the only thing we'd say is probably that the Yeti XP should probably be spread out a little bit more. But I think it's fun, so good job, your Wolf, because fun is awesome.
Next up is the Ivy League Louts by Crag Doombrow, who are a dwarf team with no Death Roller. Moving on.
They are 1, 1, and 6, so in 10th place in the division currently. 2 runners, no levels on either, and the fact that this one is mixed next game tells you exactly the problem that you see with dwarves. Until those runners level up, they're massive targets because they're armor 8 and they do not have any block like almost every other player in your team does. So if somebody can hit that runner, they will, and they're more likely to go down than any other dwarf you have. So that right there is what we've talked about before. Troll Slayer with Mighty Blow is awesome because that's your blitzer piece now. Frenzy, Dauntless, Block, Mighty Blow, real good.
Yep. So this is really standard dwarf development. So maybe the losses were him learning the positioning struggles that dwarfs have. Maybe he's just had some rough games. It's hard to say. But looking forward, this could moving forward, this could be a great dwarf team.
Yeah, he's got 3 guard, which suddenly makes the LOS really difficult for opponents when you have 3 guard stuck next to each other.
So that's niggled. So that runner is dead.
Yeah, that's really nice. Getting it once you get 3 guard on dwarves is when it becomes a lot different. So that's really good. The only criticism I have right now of this team is that the runners don't have any development. You really need block on them just to keep them alive because they are massive. There's a giant arrow over their heads that say "Please hit me" on dwarf teams until you can get block or something on them to just keep them on their feet. So getting block on those runners is the only real criticism I have so far. But everything other than that, looking good.
Yep. And then we have Blitzy Ricks with K Pond, KP, WND.
K Pond, maybe?
I don't know, whatever.
K Pond.
Rick and Morty references galore.
4, 1, and 3. It's pwned, right? It's owned or whatever,
Yeah,
K-owned or coned, count. Depends on how he wants to
I'm
pronounce
just
it.
being difficult.
Dark
he's
Elves,
got a Mighty
4, 1,
Blow
and 3.
Blitzer, which is great, though he is MNG'd, not niggled, thankfully. 2 Blodge Blitzers. Usually you see 1 Blodge, 1 Tackle, but yeah, it's actually unusual to get a team to this level and not have Tackle yet. He's got a runner with guard, which is amazing. He's just a mobile guard piece now.
This is
really
the team that has
useful.
Birdman, and it's supposed to be Bird Person, and he apologized to me in the Discord for that because I was really offended when we first did it.
Yeah, exactly. Witch Elf, I would get block before. Oh, I guess no. If you're just doing a surfing day, you don't need. Yeah, never mind.
It actually makes
kind of
this
a neat
it actually
build.
makes the surfing better because it turns both downs into pushes, so you
Yeah,
can make
exactly.
the surfs a lot more easily, which I think is cool. So you just like dedicated surfing with elf. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not the double I would usually take. You usually see Mighty Blow.
Yeah,
And the thing about not having block is like she's an amazing surfer now, but on when she's receiving blocks, she is a little vulnerable.
that's
So
true.
block does help make her more survivable. That said, this is hilarious, and like now you can surf anyone on a blitz that's within 2 squares of the end zone or the sidelines rather.
And
So
you're not worried about the both downs and stuff. I think it's awesome. Like the more traditional pick there probably would be Mighty Blow, but I think the Juggernaut is hilarious and it's really good if you just if you like dedicate her to surfing people all the time. You can, you know what's better than like hoping to get an armor break with Mighty Blow is guaranteeing an armor break by pushing them off the field.
truth.
Guard on the runner is kind of it's nice because I mean you need doubles to get strength stuff, so you take guard wherever you want. But it's also weird in that he's most likely going to be holding the ball. So like
No, I
guard,
can imagine he's running on a blitzer. Like with I remember when he asked about this, and we were the ones who told him to get guard. Like it's just nice to have a mobile guard piece. Like
oh
it's
yeah,
one
I
of
mean
the
I'm
more-
not saying like you take guard anywhere, but like you don't want guard on the ball carrier, so you're kind of losing the dump off. But having guard anywhere on elf teams is really good.
Yep. And another movement 7 piece is nice, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 Blodge players, awesome. This Blitzer's got Mighty Blow and Blodge, which is also really good, but he's missed next game, so he'll be out for the next one, sadly, but that's a really good Blitzer as well. Mighty Blow, always nice to pick up on elves. It makes your elf matchups way better, especially as dark elves, because you're kind of the bashiest elves. So going up
Yep.
against like high elves or wood elves or whatever, when you need to remove players to make the game easier for you, Mighty Blow makes that a lot easier.
Yep. And then we have Das Doge Hork and Beans, which is the other player fighting for the
Second place.
spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Orcs. They are 4, 2, and 2. I like all the black orcs named
Obligatory
Large Dave.
Fire, your cheerleader, and coach assistant.
Yep.
I'm just going to keep repeating myself. Diving, catch, blodge, blitzer, and a blodge blitzer. Orc blitzers don't have agility access, right?
No, but that's a Hail Mary pass thrower. So he's got a diving catch blitzer and a Hail Mary pass thrower, which is hilarious.
Oh god damn it! This is fucking Mole Hamster, isn't it? I saw him asking earlier. He was like, "So, how does Hail Mary pass work?"
This is so good. You just throw the blitzer in the end zone and then you Hail Mary pass at him, and it doesn't really matter because Hail Mary pass isn't like a roll, right? It's not like you don't have to roll a 6 to throw it. You just throw it. But you can't normally catch it unless you have diving catch or it happens to land on somebody. And now the diving
It's
catch,
a turnover no matter what.
but you
As I
still
recall-
catch the ball though.
Yeah, but as I recall, it is a turnover regardless.
I think so, yeah. But you can throw it to any square, no matter what the range. It can't be intercepted. It's never accurate. It automatically misses and scatters 3 squares. But as long as one of those 3 squares is within 1 square of Fast Dave the Blitzer, he can still catch it anyway with diving catch, which is hilarious. I really like this. I want to see it work. It's not good. Good lord, is this not good? Like, if this ever works, I will laugh. But I want to see this work so badly, because that's so funny. That's so funny.
It's pretty special.
I love it. 2 Mighty Blow Blitzers, which is pretty standard. You like if you're playing this correct, you'd probably want to get guard on one of them because you've taken block on Large Dave's first instead of guard, and you need guard somewhere. But I don't think he cares about the hitting game when he's Hail Mary passing to a diving catch blitzer. But that's 2 dodge or blodge blitzers, which is pretty good considering they don't actually have agility access. So he's rolled Fast Dave has rolled 2 doubles, which is kind of funny. So I mean, sure, I appreciate what you're doing, Mole Hamster. This is really funny. Wrestle lineman, that's fine. You're gonna have 3 linemen on the lines. Wrestle is just to keep them alive a bit better. So we will look at under Empire Night Terror, Thomas the Tank. They are 5th with 3, 3, and 2. Necro team.
Maybe Hail Mary Pass doesn't automatically. Okay, you talk. I'm gonna figure out whether Hail Mary Pass automatically resolves in a turnover.
You think I would know this because I think it does because I had Hail Mary pass on my Dwarf Runner in the Chaos Cup, and I would, like, every time I did it, it ended my turn. But to be fair, I also did it at the end of my turn every time because it wasn't likely to actually do anything. So I don't really remember. Anyway, Thomas the Tank, under Empire Knight Terror. 2 block werewolves, which we've talked about before. Super nice in that they become a lot more reliable to do the blitzes on. They're both pretty close to leveling again, and you really hope you get doubles to pick up that mighty blow. But frenzy blitzes are always terrifying until you, as werewolves, until you get blocked, because it's so easy for them to get frenzy trapped. And if you're rolling 4 dice, you know, you might get a both down or double both down or something, and then there they go. White has picked up Mighty Blow, which is good because you don't have Mighty Blow anywhere, but we've talked about how Necro more often need Guard on Whites than Undead do, because the Undead will pick it up on their mummies. So Guard or Mighty Blow are both good first options on the Whites. Since he went Mighty Blow first, his next level is probably going to be Tackle, but you need Guard somewhere, and you're missing a White. So I would pick up that second White because you have the money. So buy that second White and try to level him up and get him Guard, and that'll be nice. Flesh Golem with block. We've talked about it before. First skill block is always fine, and Flesh Golem's Guard is another good option, but they're likely going to get hit a lot, especially with Stand Firm and block now. It makes them a lot more annoying for your opponent to deal with.
Hail Mary Pass does not automatically result in a turnover, as far as I can tell. If you catch the Hail Mary Pass, it is not a turnover. Minus movement zombie is an instant fire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Movement 4 is so much better than movement 3, because if someone blocks you, if you're tying up a piece with a zombie and they block you to the ground and don't follow, you can't get back on that player without a GFI now. Yeah. So movement 3 is useless. Fire him for movement 4.
I would pick up a second White first over the fired zombie.
I would pick up a White. I would also fire this Ghoul. You have enough for a White and a Ghoul, and you should. Like a Niggled Ghoul is just it's so dead.
Yeah, he's armor 7, and Niggled, like, he is SPP Pinata for your opponent. And you can ball carry on the werewolves if you need to anyway. So you don't. I would get rid of that Ghoul as well. Not a whole lot else to talk about there. Kids Bop presents the Y2K, which is such a great team name. Nurgle, coached by Lil Sebastian. They are 6th with 3, 1, and 4. So let's see. Guard first on the Beast of Nurgle, which is I like. I mean, you either take Guard or Stand Firm first. And if you're not going to take Guard on a Nurgle Warrior first, which he's not doing because he's taking block everywhere, Guard on the Beast of Nurgle is a good choice. In hindsight, with my Nurgle team, I took Stand Firm first, which I really liked, but I think I would have taken Guard first on a Nurgle Warrior somewhere in that case, because you kind of want Guard, and I just went so many games without it. So maybe when Ignition levels, you pick up Guard there, because he's going for the... he doesn't have any like killing pieces yet, but he's probably going to want to get it on a Pestigore.
He's going for the reliability start, like just get block on everyone, and then once you have a real team, start playing to win.
Yep.
As an aside, Lil Sebastian, I hate your team name.
I love it. I love it so much.
I hate everything about this team. And I am going to expel you from the league because I have that power.
It's so good. And they're all songs from like, it's Y2K. So it's all,
yeah, I know. I got it.
They're all like 2000 songs and stuff. So fresh and so clean.
I would fire this Niggled Rodder, though. Niggled Rodders are scary because of decay. Thank you for your dulcet tones there, bro.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'd get rid of that Rodder. You have enough money to buy another Pestigore too, so that's an option. You want to start building a killer at some point. You really need one as Nurgle, and you don't have one.
I wouldn't get a third Pestigore yet. I'd wait until Ignition and get low levels. Like, you kind of need to... Nurgle are all about like leveling the Pestigores one at a time as you level also your Nurgle warriors. So I feel like until you get something more reliable on get low, he's not really that useful, and Ignition is just a rookie Nurgle warrior, so you want to get those 2 leveled in that.
Yeah, but Ignition is a Kaz away. He's not that far. and you pick up guard probably. Get low is literally a vanity pass, and then you can have blodge, which is good, and you still have 0 killing potential at 1300 TV.
Yeah, but a rookie Pestigore doesn't give you killing potential.
No, but you start building him for one, and you're not going to build get low for it, and you're probably not going to build into club for it at this point.
Yeah,
either.
you're probably going to build into club. He's going to get Mighty Blow next because get low is going to be the ball carrier.
Yeah, but he's still.
That's what I'm saying, you know.
I like a third Pestigore, but you don't need one, I guess. I would have built one of these guys with Mighty Blow first, probably somewhere, just to have that option. But I'm of the school that you need to get lucky as Nurgle to win early, and you get lucky by using Mighty Blow and stuff rather than taking the reliability skills. But either way, I mean, it's a safer start certainly, and you're getting to the point where suddenly you have a real team when you have block everywhere and a bit of guard, and you can actually start making plays to win the game rather than just trying not to lose, as you normally do with Nurgle.
The get good school. Metal Gods is the last replacement we had in this division. So it shows him as 6-1-1, but he is not that on the leaderboard.
1-1-6 in ninth place.
Spoopy. He's been doing pretty well though, as I recall. Mighty Blow, jump up blitzer. It's good. It's good to pick up the double at this point. It's not. You'd probably want to go straight into piling on then if you've already got jump up rather than getting tackle first. Get tackle on Ronnie, James, Dio instead.
Absolutely, I agree.
Because then you end up with a really dangerous killer early on, which the orcs really need to start really taking out pieces.
Yeah, we've talked about the jump up thing first. You don't want to waste the doubles, but it makes his level up like getting to the killer point. He'll be really good as a killer once he gets there, but it makes his progress to the really good killer point slower. But it doesn't matter too much in this case because he doesn't have a whole lot of levels elsewhere, so it's not like his TV is being bloated a whole lot. He's only at 1240, so I think it's fine to take the jump up here, and then you just take piling on right away.
He really needs some more guard. It's not too bad. He's got one, but which is nice because it's the mobile guard piece too, so you can kind of move it around and use it where you need it. But I'd like Ozzy Osbourne to get guard, but he's nowhere near a level. So
the other two Black Orcs are getting close. Freddie Van Halen is an MVP, and Malmsteen is just a Kaz from getting a level. So I would probably take guard there. You already have 7 block. You don't need an 8th or a 9th block right now over guard. So I would take guard on those two Black Orcs that are getting close to leveling. So it's not too bad. Certainly getting there. A bit more guard, and then this team a bit more guard and a level on Freddie Mercury, and then you've got a really scary orc team. Good killer, bunch of guard.
Helgen, it's not more often than not. It's a 2+ to stand up and block someone next to him. Freddie Mercury will mostly be on his feet, so it's not a big loss with the piling on.
No. The only argument against it is that it doesn't really help a whole lot until you get piling on. It can help sometimes, but is it worth the price of a double is like the question. And I think in this case it is, and in a lot of cases it can be. It's just about like managing TV and like is it worth it over like dodge or just another skill, right? Like if you roll doubles on skill 1, would you take jump up over dodge? I don't think so. Right? If you roll doubles when you didn't already have Mighty Blow, if you was a guard player, would you take jump up over dodge? I don't think so. It's a question, right? It's not like bad, but it's something you need to think about before you take.
For sure.
America's B we're on to.
Oh yeah, geez.
So we'll take a look at the schedule. 2 games have been played here. Fluffy Fighting Force 3-0'd Balthor's Bashers, and Nuffles Unfavored tied Dorkly 1-1.
So Slarknado, who's been in chat, is the first place team and is pretty likely to remain that way.
Old World Wardens could take their spot because they haven't actually played yet.
They have to play. Oh, and they get a bye, so they will be first.
Okay, so Old World Wardens will finish at 6-2-1, whereas the Skaven are finishing at 6-1-2. But nobody else can touch that. The best someone else can do is 4. So I think that basically decides the top 2 spots in this division, and therefore the 2 playoff teams. In that Tetsuya will be in first with the Old World Wardens, and Slarknado with the Fluffy Fighting Force will be in second, but only by like 1 point. So that is pretty close top 2 teams, but the other ones are not really in
Yeah,
contention.
so
for
this
it.
is locked up. It's going to be Skaven and Undead no matter what. But let's look at the teams and see how they're doing. So
Zan's a
Adventuring
barbarian.
Bows- Yeah, Zan's a barbarian. Another
like the
Chorf
team
team.
name.
So many Chorfs. Guard on a Bull Centaur is not something you see super often. Sometimes you'll pick it up as a later skill, but you really need the strength advantage elsewhere with Bull Centaurs. And he's also got an AV busted one, which is glue, even though he's got block. And you've got a Agi busted Hobgoblin, which is glue. Ugh, that's some
But
really bad
the
damage.
Agi busted Hobgoblin is not as glue as the Bull Centaur is, but it's
Yes.
still probably glue. You don't need the Hobgoblin Agi necessarily. Like, I think I'd be more worried about the Niggled Hobgoblin, but he's also block. Definitely get rid of the Bull Centaur and buy a new one because you can afford it. That's step 1. Step 2 is more of a discussion. But like, your next game is going to be a bit rough if you just go into it like this. You're missing a Chaos Dwarf, you're missing a Hobgoblin, you're missing a Bull Centaur. That's going to be a little hard unless you do something about it. And you've got some money, so I would I would do something.
Unfortunate that we don't have a lot of Chorf development, but pretty close. So hopefully soon you'll have some.
One Mighty Blow Chaos Dwarf blocker. We've talked about that, and that sometimes people go Mighty Blow first in hopes that as soon as somebody rolls doubles, they'll instantly be Mighty Blow Claw, which is really good.
I feel like you were like, we'll get faster because we'll stop saying the same talking points over and over again, and we've been exactly 30 minutes every time because you just keep repeating it.
You do the same thing too.
I know.
It's not just me.
I'm moving on to the dwarf team because we've said all that needs to be said about that team, though.
Pretty much.
It's okay. I just like sassing you.
Viltris by Balthor's Bashers. I can't speak. By Viltris, they are currently
3-3-3.
4th with 3-3-3.
I wish they were third.
The third of 3-3-3. 2 Mighty Blow Troll Slayers. Awesome. Good blitzers. I like it. Blitzer with guard.
Yep.
And a bunch of dwarfs with guard. Very good. And I will say that I like the runners better here because they have picked up block. So suddenly they're not really a target anymore, and they're more likely to stay on the field. Now that your whole team has block, they are armor 8, but now their glaring weakness has been taken care of. So this is certainly a pretty scary dwarf team. You've got 3 guard, 4 even, and 3 guard is sort of the turning point for dwarfs, I find.
Yep.
So this is a really good looking dwarf team, and certainly would be really annoying to play against. Like, look at the TV, right? Like, this would be a really annoying team to play against, and they're 1230 TV, right? Like, their dwarves are just so efficient. Dwarves are so efficient, it's kind of gross.
Yep. And then we have Complementary Colors by Clay Statue.
Yep, they are 8th with 2, 3, and 3.
With the American flag, American
Uniforms.
flag-ish uniforms.
Move Agi 5 thrower. Boom. Step
Beautiful.
1 complete towards gross elf team.
Blodge, or no, not Blodge, because it's the pro elf catchers. Block guard catcher, pretty good.
Yeah, the guard is really nice on elf teams, and he's also block to keep him alive a bit. And they're nerves of steel, so they can, like, you can run him in to do annoying guard things and then pass it to him anyway, and it doesn't matter because he's nerves of steel.
Yeah. He's got the other one as a bit of a sacker. I would have liked to see strip ball or tackle instead of dodge. Dodge doesn't make him a better catcher or a better sacker unless he's dodging into cages, which you probably don't want to do
makes
that
him
before anyway.
It's kind of a weird hybrid thing, I think, right?
Yeah.
In that he can now do the catch the ball hawking thing, but he can also the receiving thing. Yeah, like wrestle isn't amazing for that because he has to stand up first if he gets wrestled to the ground before he catches it. But with the dodge helps more on the receiving end of it too. So instead of like building him to do one job, he's kind of built him to do both, which is okay because now you have 2 catchers that you can dump into the field, and your opponent is going to have to blitz one of them, and then you can pass to the other one. So that's a good way of scoring, especially with the Agi 5 thrower, where you're not too worried about throwing long bombs. So that could be pretty scary to play against, especially with the pro elves nerves of steel, make catching really easy. The blitzers are gross. They are blodge step now, so those are some good pro elf players. And
you'll often get diving tackle on one of them and use them as like a fuck you, it's on your ball carrier now, deal with it kind of issue.
Yep, I like this team a lot. The linemen, there's only one level. It is kick. That's all you really care about on pro elves because the linemen are cheap and who cares. and all the levels have gone to players that matter. So I really like this Pro Elf team so far.
Yeah, real good team.
Nuffles Unfavored by Absinthe Minded. They are 9th. Wood Elves 2, 3, and 4. There is a tree. I see the tree. And he's picked up Grab, which is a really good first skill as a tree. Basically, one of 2 that people will take. Super good.
Grab helps him keep people next to him if he takes fruit. Which
Yep, exactly.
So really good. Strip Ball War Dancer. Normally you build the other one with Tackle as more of a blitzer for like not ball hawking purposes. But they're called ball hogs, so I guess he just wants them both to be stripping balls.
Yep.
Raising.
Mr. and Mrs. Ballhog.
Yeah, Undercover War Dancer is kind of funny.
Yeah, Sure Hands is interesting. You don't really see Sure Hands that often on elf teams because they're Agi 4 already, so like you don't really, very, very unoften do you need the reroll.
I might have taken it going into a matchup versus Skaven.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing you really use Sure Hands for on elf teams is the protection against strip ball, so that's probably why I took it. You don't pick up the ball that often in a matchup, and if you pick it up on a 2+ and you only roll like 3 pickups in a match or whatever, then you're not really gaining a whole lot of use out of the reroll part of it. But you use it for
it makes him a better like ball retrieval option though.
That's true.
The built-in reroll that you can then expend else because he's got a built-in reroll for dodging, a built-in reroll for picking up the ball. So even if there's a tackle zone or 2 on the ball, you might still go for it and then try to get out.
Yeah, and with the dedicated double ball hawks with the war dancers, he looks like he's really dedicated to the strip ball, grab it, run away play style, and the Sure Hands helps out a lot in that regard.
Yep, he's got a kick lineman that's movement busted, not a big deal, and 2 wrestle linemen, and then he's lost a couple of linemen looks like, but that's to be expected. What else? He's got all his positionals, so
yeah, and
he's pretty happy.
Rookie lineman or loner lineman for Wood Elves you don't really care about too much.
Nope. He doesn't have a thrower, but not every Wood Elf gets a thrower, so
nope.
Whatever.
It's a late thing. You build the other players first, because once you get a thrower, he's going to be just like throwing to the catchers, and the catchers score. So you need to level up those war dancers first, and then people will get a thrower like much later. So he has the option now going forward, because the throwers are decent out of the box. So it's an option that you can do once you've got the team already developed. So he could probably do it soon, but he doesn't need to do it yet. Old World Wardens by Tetsuya. They are the team that is going to finish in first because of the bye coming up.
So they're one of the playoff teams. He's got a block mummy. So good.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yep.
That's so much nicer. That's so reliable, right? Like mummies don't have their they don't have a nega trait, so suddenly that's just a strength 5 player.
We'll make an undead coach out of you yet. He's got a guard white, so probably gonna pick up. There's a couple of options you can do at that because he's 1 SPP away from leveling. There's a couple of different things you can do, and all of them are pretty.
I like that a lot because since he got blocked first on the mummy, he's missing a guard from there. So you pick up guard on a white to kind of make up for that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
looks like the white is going to get Mighty Blow, or even he could get Stand Firm. He could get a bunch of things, like I said.
And the other white is only 2 from leveling, and he's going to get Mighty Blow, I would imagine. Maybe Tackle, but probably Mighty Blow.
Yeah, I think I'd probably build this white as more of a Mighty Blow thing and get the Stand Firm on the mummies, of course. Agi 4 Ghoul, amazing. Blodge, Sure Hands, Ghoul, great for ball carrying.
Those are two really good ghouls. A block zombie, which is nice because now he's just slightly more annoying to put on people, and you've got a dirty player skeleton in Mr. Skeletal. So this is everything an undead team wants. Maybe like a strength up on a white or something, but like basically this is if you could pick skills on an undead team, you'd pick these ones. Yeah.
So undead are great early on and kind of fall off as you get to like the 30-40 game mark, maybe even a bit beforehand, probably more like 20. But things like doubles on mummies and skill ups on whites and ghouls are how you stay competitive. So he's on his way to still having a competitive team.
This is going to be a scary team to face in the playoffs. I would watch out for Tetsuya in the playoffs, certainly.
Yep.
Lizards Anonymous by Urban Deer.
Dyer, probably.
They are 3-3-2 in third, and they're likely to stay there depending on how this week goes. But that's not a good enough record for wild card position, likely.
Yep. Not a whole lot of development. He went stand firm first on the Croc score. He will either go guard or stand firm, so that makes sense. I like guard, but stand firm makes him much more annoying to deal with for agi teams.
Because
guard is more
the
an
prehensile
anti-dash
tail.
tool. Yep.
Anytime you have a big guy with like tentacles or prehensile tail or something, it becomes much more of a debate between guard and stand firm, whereas almost every other like standard big guy will take guard first.
Yep, because they're support pieces. 2 Bloxsaurus, one of them is about to get Mighty Blow probably, or Tackle. One is a Castaway, 2 are MVP ready, one is 0 SVP. He is junior, so I'm guessing this might be a death.
Yeah.
Yep, has never played a game. Unfortunate to lose a Saurus. Really stings. Maybe it was even a developed Saurus. I'd have to go look.
Yeah,
he's got a
sad.
Blodge Step Diving Tackle Skink. Really, really annoying to deal with. You stick him on the ball, and then they suddenly have to commit a lot of resources to either blocking him off by filling up all the spaces or hitting him with a reliable piece. So if you can tie up the reliable pieces, it can make for a turnover. It's really nice.
So tell me about this catch skink.
Catch Skinks are fine. It's not my first choice to get level ups on, but it makes handoffs more reliable, and reliability is something you really need with early lizards. So
That's true.
it helps for 2 turning, it helps for 1 turning, it helps for repositioning. It's like a fine skill. It's not my first pickup, but it's people often have one catch skink is usually good.
I really like Hans though. That's such an annoying skink. If he can level and get block, that is going to be the most annoying player in the universe to play against. Blodge Step, Diving Tackle, just here you go, have this skink to deal with. I'm like, oh god, I don't want to. Like that's so annoying. It's
still pretty early, so there's not as much tackle and block as there would be, in 5 or 10 more games. So right now he's really good. He's gonna die, but he's gonna be annoying while he's alive.
Yeah, the only thing that's a little sad is the lack of Saurus development. So they're not as reliable there, but that'll come. You're pretty close if you can get like 2 or 3 more block. In an ideal world, everybody has block, but once you have more than half of your Saurus with block is sort of when I think it starts to become a lot nicer and easier to utilize them.
Yep. And then we have Slarknado's Fluffy Fighting Force.
Yep, this is currently first, but going to go to second because they've already played this game, and the undead are going to take over with their bye.
Sorry, I got distracted.
So we go to they need a POW, but they need a POW, and they have to hit you. And if they don't get a POW, the sidestep means he's still on your ball carrier, and then the diving tackle means your dodge is really unlikely. So like you have to get a POW to find that, and that can be. I mean,
the point of skinks is not to like skinks die. That's just it. You should never pixel hug a skink. The job of a diving tackle sidestep skink is to get punched.
Yeah, exactly. But he's going to be so annoying until he dies. Anyway, Fluffy Fighting Force, Slarknado, it's your boy. Edward Rodent, the gutter runner, is leveled. He's got wrestle, so you probably get tackle or strip ball. Probably strip ball, in my opinion, unless you've rolled something super dumb.
He took leap on the other one. I hope for the memes.
That's awesome. I mean, ideally you pick up leap if you've got Agi 5 instead of Agi 4, because then it's just a 2+ leap into a cage, and then if you have wrestle strip ball, it's so easy. Like an Agi 5 wrestle strip ball leap gutter runner, it doesn't matter what your opponent does. Whenever you want, you just remove the ball from them with like an 80% chance or something, and that's really gross. Like ideally you wait till Agi 5 to pick up leap, but it can still be certainly useful if you're dedicated to doing that cage dive thing.
My understanding of the strategy is normally that you get the ball hawk skills, hoping for a double for 2 heads or an agi up, and then if you don't get those, then you can go something like leap to get him into the cage easier, because once he has agi 5 or 2 heads, you're less like leap becomes a little less attractive, because it's not like a dodge into a cage with 2 heads is 75% with dodge. So it's like I think early on it's not a great pickup. Later on it like improves his reliability, but I would have probably gone tackle or strip ball.
I would have gone tackle or strip ball first, but I think it's fun, so
it is definitely fun, which is something to be said.
Gutter runner with guard, or a gutter runner with guard, which is nice because that's a super mobile guard piece, and guard is nice. Really good on rats. Certainly, that's excellent. And a sidestep one, so it's a blodge step gutter runner. That's going to be annoying to get the ball off him, certainly. Not much to say there.
Yeah, guys, the point isn't that the diving tackle skink doesn't get punched, it's that we force you to commit those resources. Or if I'm going to throw a diving tackle sidestep skink on a ball, I'm not going to leave a free blitz out from a block tackle piece. Like, you're going to tie up that as well, or you're forcing them to commit a bunch of resources in a focused place. Lizards are pitch control teams. So you force them to all huddle up, and then you outmuscle them with your Saurus. Like, that's the game plan. Like, you're playing into that game plan if you commit all of your resources to getting a skink off of your ball. That's kind of like the point.
Yep, absolutely. Storm Vermin with guard, Storm Vermin with Mighty Blow. Seems pretty good. Sometimes you'll see 2 Mighty Blow first, just because you never know which one will roll doubles. Hopefully one of them rolls doubles and gets claw. And you never know which one will, if they will. So like if the brain rolls it and then becomes guard claw, that's not really that great. But you kind of want to take it so that you can get Mighty Blow next. But guard is really good on Skaven teams, especially when you want to be doing like the cage diving kind of thing. And we got a dirty player line rat and a kick line rat, which are the only rat skills you care about. So perfect.
Unless you get doubles and get guard, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we have Malevolent Powers with Duodara,
who is
Malevolent.
currently 5th with 3, 2, and 3. Yeah, Malevolent, I guess.
Well, it's Malevolent, but elf.
Yeah, Malevolent.
Yeah, exactly. So he's only got 2 rerolls still. He has not picked up the 3rd one yet. This can be a problem with... although he has picked up a Witch Elf on top of the 4 Blitzers, so that means he prioritized a Witch Elf over a 3rd reroll. This is a bit unusual. Normally you go for the reliability of a 3rd reroll before you pick up positionals, because the positionals are very expensive. So
that's true.
Sometimes positionals die on a failed dodge because you didn't have a reroll. Like, that's kind of like, you get the Appo, you get the reroll, so then you have the safe setup, and then you get the expensive positionals.
The upside is that he gets to level those positionals a lot faster, considering he now has a Blodge Step Witch Elf. That's really nice in that, like, you can aggressively go down the sidelines and surf people with Frenzy, and then not be worried about the counter surf because of the Blodge sidestep.
So
they
have to commit a
fun.
lot of resources if they want to surf you.
Yeah, the counter surf, if you like. You can aggressively try to surf people and not really be too worried about them. Like, oh, if I surf him, then he'll probably surf me right afterwards. You don't have to worry about that, and you can just remove players by surfing them, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, agreed. 2 Blodge Blitzers, really nice, as we've said before. Guard lineman, excellent. Runner doesn't have... I'm guessing that he wanted the runner to get leader. A lot of the times, these starter runner builds will stay at 2 rerolls, pick up leader, and then call it a day.
Yep.
Maybe someday you ditch the runner and get a 3rd reroll, but it's a good enough piece for now. So I'm just guessing that he hasn't gotten enough SPP on the runner and is probably pretty frustrated about that.
Or maybe did the runner... has this runner been around the whole time? He's only played 1 match, so maybe he lost his previous runner or something.
Could be. Oh, that would also explain why he only has 2 rerolls.
Yep. So that's potentially what happened there.
We've been reading it all wrong. Yeah, it's 3 deaths sustained, so I'd have to go back and look.
Couple wrestle linemen, which is fine. A dodge lineman. I mean, you kind of... The only thing that I'd like to see a bit more on the lineman here is maybe a kick, and he doesn't have one. But Dark Elves don't need it as much as other elf teams, but it's still good enough that I think I'd like to have a kick instead of a wrestle there, probably, on one of those pieces.
Yeah, you'll often see block instead of wrestle as well.
Yep. Block, dodge, wrestle, kick. Those are all good first skills for basically any Dark Elf lineman.
There's nothing wrong with wrestle.
No.
So yeah, good team.
Makes them good line fodder. Like, if those are the ones you just stick on the line, then it keeps them alive and knocks down the opponents as well. So having a couple for just like line fodder is a good thing for the wrestle piece.
And now we have your mentee. You want to talk about his team?
Yeah, Dorkly, Sideshow Games. Sorry, he is currently 6 with 3, 2, and 4. I meant to review his last game. And I got about halfway through it and had to go cast something else, and I haven't had time to go look at it again. So I feel really bad about that, and I'll probably do a look at a bunch of his games coming up. Like, I'll go over the last few and try to give him some advice moving into the minors, probably. But here we go. So this is an orc team. I like what he's done so far. So he's got block and guard on a line orc and on a black orc and block on a black orc. And in order to make up for the lack of guard on the black orcs, he's got it on 2 blitzers. So he's got Bashnai the science guy with block guard, which is nice. Neil Eatgrass Tyson, I think I would have maybe gone tackle instead of that guard, but having a third guard is really useful, so that's not necessarily wrong, and he's close enough to be getting tackle anyway. Charles Bashwin is a Mighty Blow blitzer, and Orc blitzer's Mighty Blow. His next level is probably just going to be tackle, which is super good. And then I like what he's done. He's picked up Sure Hands on Blitz Bashlorn, and now that is your ball carrier. You don't need to bother with a thrower anymore. We got a level pending. You really hope it's doubles, so you can pick up dodge or something. But Sure Hands on an Orc blitzer is basically how you ball carry with orcs, in my opinion. So I like that. We'll see what the level is, though.
Plus Agi.
I hope so. I'd have Sure Hands on a blitzer by now if it wasn't for the fact that you rolled Agi plus Agi twice. So yeah, looking good. He was a replacement, so he missed the first few games. So some of the SPP spread isn't kind of where he'd like it. Yeah, I would have taken tackle on. I would have taken tackle on Neely Grass Tyson. I'd like Mighty Blow first on blitzers, though. It helps them level faster. Would I recommend waiting for Agi or Strength before making a carrier? Depends on the team. For orcs, I mean, it depends, right? I think in this case it's fine because he didn't get Agi or Strength on any of his players, obviously, because they're Mighty Blow, Guard, and Sure Hands. So picking up Sure Hands at some point, because that blitzer is going to be your ball carrier, is fine. If you have the option of waiting for them, yeah. As soon as an Orc blitzer gets Agi, he becomes your new ball carrier. But I think you need Sure Hands as orcs at some point. And you can't afford to wait for 30 levels to pick up Sure Hands, because by then all the elf teams and stuff you play will have the strip ball. So I like getting the Sure Hands now because it looks like he didn't roll Agi anywhere else.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like if one of those other blitzers rolls something better later on, you can always recycle the current carrier and get a new, Orc blitzers level up pretty quickly, so it's not too tough to recycle if you need to. Yeah,
exactly. And I would have taken Sure Hands there, certainly. And you kind of hope he gets better skills at this point. It's a little unfortunate. Honestly, you'd like to see if somebody gets doubles or Agi and then make him a ball carrier, but I don't think you can afford to not have a ball carrier, right? It's very clear that he didn't roll Agi or movement or doubles on any of those blitzers because they're Mighty Blow, Guard, right? So then you have to get a ball carrier at some point, and you can't just say, well, I guess I'll wait for another 8 levels to see if I can get Agi somewhere, because by then you've played 30 games and you're not without a ball carrier anywhere, which is going to be rough.
Yeah, I think their point is more you wait till level 3 on each of the blitzers, but yeah, you're sacrificing reliability. Statistically, your odds of losing games will increase while you wait. So I mean, it's a trade-off, right?
Yep.
If you want to trade for potential better results later, and you can in an Eternal League, that makes a lot of sense. You don't need to win games right now.
Yep.
So yeah, if you wanted to wait till level 3 on all the blitzers, you absolutely could.
The other thing is, if you're waiting till level 3 though, and you don't get any Agi or doubles until level 3, now suddenly you have a Mighty Blow, tackle, plus Agi Sure Hands blitzer, and now that Mighty Blow and tackle doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people start with thrower Helgen. Look, the orc. So the reason that likely that this player has this setup.
He started with a thrower and it died, and then he just didn't bother getting a new one.
So Ben hates throwers.
Throwers are dumb.
Alert.
They're armor 8. They're more expensive than a line orc, and they're worse than a line orc because they're movement 5 and armor 8.
Yeah, Ben hates.
Starting with a thrower is not bad. Starting with a thrower is not bad if you want Sure Hands, right? So you can start with a thrower, and then you wait till blitzers level up, and then you give a blitzer Sure Hands, and then you fire the thrower, and that's exactly what happened here. The only time that's different is if those blitzers roll Agi or something first, and then you fire the thrower, and you carry on the Agi player until he gets Sure Hands. You only need the thrower until the blitzers start leveling. So that's my opinion of orcs anyway.
So now we have America's A, the last division. Looking at the leaderboard, up at the top are the High Elves, the Raucous Royals with Weeknight Wizard. That's 6-1-1. Lizardman, Fruity Scoots, Amadeus Maxwell is 6-0-2. And then we have 2 teams at 5-1-2, the Dark Elf Salty Chips with Angray, and the Chorf Teenage Bottle Rockets with Ryurata.
And none of these games have been played yet, so there's still some shakeups that could happen, right? We could have a team that ends up 6-1-1, or 612, 603, 612, 612,
Who has
depending
a
on how
bye,
those
though?
go.
Panic at the KO has a bye. That was none of the teams I mentioned.
Nope.
And who else has a bye? There's a couple of buys here, actually.
Are there? Okay, so that could change some things. What are so there's
Oh, so Salty Chips get a bye, I think.
yes, they do, and Fruity Scoots get a bye, right?
Okay, so the Lizards will be first.
Will be
at
7-0-3, and the Salty Chips will be 6-1-2. So top is going to be Lizardmen.
Well, the High Elves could be on top if they win.
Yes. So, well, yeah, Lizardmen are going to be 1 or 2. The High Elves could be 1 or 2 depending on whether they win or not, and the Salty Chips could be 2 or 3 depending on what the High Elves do. And that's a good enough record in third that it's likely to be a wild card position, because that'll be a 6-win third place probably. So there's a couple teams here that could shake up the leaderboard. So by the end of this week, it's not going to look like this, but it's probably going to be the same sort of 3 teams in a different order.
Yeah, if I had to bet money on it, the 2 wild cards will be from this division and Europe B, I think.
Yeah.
Europe B is going to have a 6-1-2 third place.
Are there only going to
team,
be 2
probably.
wild cards?
Yes, there are only 2 wild cards.
Right, because there's
7
1,
divisions,
2.
14.
Yeah, okay,
16
that makes
bracket.
sense. Yep. So it'll likely be from this division and the other Europe division. That makes sense. The Europe division with the 6-win third place. So let's see what we've got here for the teams. We've got Fruity Scoots, the lizard men that we were just talking about. Amadeus Maxwell.
He's sitting on 280K. I'm
That's
guessing he just had a buy.
A lot of money.
Jeez, I mean, there are a lot of buys in this division. It's kind of unfortunate. We had a lot of dropouts.
Is he one of the teams that's getting a bye?
Yes. No, he just played a game, so I think he's been holding on to money.
That's weird.
Yes.
Wait, but does he have a buy coming up though?
He does. His next game is a buy, but he couldn't have gotten 130K from one game.
No, so okay, so that's weird. But fire, crackle, and donk my grapefruit, because you're about to get a buy and you have $1 billion. So just fire those 2 skinks, hope to get MVPs on the Saurus instead, and then you can rebuy them afterwards, and then dump some of that money, because right now you're giving away like 130K worth of inducements for free.
Yeah, I wouldn't care about the 3 SPP on those. If you got a buy coming up, and you've got a lot of cash, it makes sense to drop skinks and try to get MVPs and touchdowns to land on Saurus, who will literally all level other than Grape Punts. Like a touchdown or an MVP would level any of these 3.
Yeah, so this team is likely to go to playoffs, and if the bye week that he's about to have goes well for SPP, he's going to get some real good levels out of it probably, which will make his playoff run a lot easier. So you need some more block on those Saurus, but like we said, if you fire those skinks, take the MVPs, and then rebuy new skinks, you're likely to get at least 1, maybe 2 block out of it. So that'll help a lot.
Yep. Just be careful not to fire more skinks than you can afford. It turns out skinks are expensive.
Yeah, they're 60K. But you have 280, so you can easily afford to rebuy 2, if not 3.
In this case, he can. Like, I would even consider firing. No, the rest are pretty useful.
Yeah, the rest
the
are.
Surefeet skink is kind of meh. You don't usually get Surefeet as a first level, but the block skink is of course great, so you wouldn't fire him. No, I wouldn't fire Snap. Like, it's too early. You need some skink development early on.
Yeah, it's a reasonable strategy, Articus, but just be careful with it, because you don't know how much. You can't guarantee how much money you're going to get out of a win.
You have a minimum. You know, a minimum. The minimum is what, 50K? I think.
Yeah, I've made that mistake before, where I was like, I'll fire a bunch of skeletons to try to get my MVP to go to Tomb Guardians, and I fired 1 too many skeletons and then couldn't afford to rebuy one of them afterwards.
You rolled minimum on winnings.
I rolled. People were like, "Wait, you can roll that low?" And I was like, "Yes, I did." Well, A, I rolled minimum on winnings, and B, I asked an admin. This was in a different league. This wasn't in Rebel or anything. I asked an admin about what the procedure was for that and like how much money you're supposed to get out of it, and he told me one thing, and then the answer was something else. So I assumed I was going to get more money.
So what
than
a
I
lot
did.
of leagues will do is they're like, well, you get both winnings, so here's the average. Oh, hey, Hilo. I wasn't sure. I was like, who is Articus? But anyway, that's cool.
Oh, hello. Cool. Hello.
What a lot of leagues will tell you is that you get both winnings, and winnings are, I believe, 20K the winning team gets a bonus 10k, and you get a minimum of 10k. So a roll of 1 will give you 20k. So the minimum is 50, but I'm not positive on that. But they'll be like, yeah, you get both winnings. But what will often happen in admin settings to avoid like too much of a swing is that the concede winnings will be set to a particular value. Like the admins will say, it's always a 2. So they might tell you that you could get 180k, but it's not necessarily the case. So it depends on the league. It depends on the
I don't remember the details of my case. It's kind of irrelevant at this point.
They won't announce that usually because it allows too much metagaming. But like,
well, yeah, it was like so. Well, but it wasn't like what the role was. It was like, do I get single winnings or do I get my opponent's winnings too? And he was like, oh, you get your opponent's winnings, and then I only got my winnings.
Okay.
So I didn't get like and then I didn't roll well, right? So I didn't get the minimum 50k. I got minimum 20k, right? So I didn't get as much out of it as I thought. This is a different league, though, so totally irrelevant and doesn't matter. The point is...
Let's get back on schedule.
The point is, be careful about that. It's a weird metagaming thing, and some people will do it. Some people don't like that you do it because it's kind of gamey, but I'm fine with it. Just be careful, because you can get screwed if you spend too much money. Anyway, yeah, it looks good, and it could be really scary depending on how these admin wins go. So...
Yep.
Good luck to that.
And then we have the Raucous Royals, who are one of the other teams contending for first, are likely to be the playoff coach. They basically, if they get a draw in their last game, they have it on lockdown because no one else has 6 and 2. Yeah. So if they get a draw, they go to playoffs.
This is a really developed high elf team. There's a lot of levels here.
He could fire 3, but we were talking about whether or not the Surefeet skink is worth firing. I'd consider it. I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
See. So, yeah, a lot of development. He's been scoring a lot, I would guess.
Yeah, so he's got a pass accurate safe thrower. Well, I mean, just accurate, I guess. But that's a good thrower. And he's got a catcher with plus agi, which is, like, that's a pretty reliable long pass already at this point. High elves, once you've developed them, are probably the most reliable passing team there is. Debatably with pro elves, but their throwers are just generally better because pass safe throw. So that's really scary. He's got a couple guard he's got a blodge blitzer with guard, which is amazing. Another blodge blitzer, and a guard lineman with block. So that's 2 guard on an elf team, which, as we all know, changes how you play elf teams really strongly. The only sad part is that his other blitzer hasn't rolled a double to get mighty blow yet, because even on elves you'd like a killer. High elf blitzers, high elves, it's harder than normal because you only have 2 blitzer players, but you still want one if you can get it. Couple wrestle for line fodder, a kick player, another block player. Like, this is a good looking high elf team, and it'll
really good.
Certainly has potential to be real scary.
He's been winning with high elves. High elves are not the best starting team, so yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, this is a good looking team, and it's going to be pretty scary in the playoffs if it continues to stay alive and not implode.
Yeah, you need to feed SPP to Freddie Mercury. And about firing the sidestep diving tackle skink, I wouldn't, simply because it's a very useful thing to have in the playoffs. Even if you use it suicidally, it's a very good tool for lizards to have early on. Now we have Salty Chips with Angre. I played him yesterday in the World Cup. Actually.
Yeah, guard blodge is so good at this level. Like, that's amazing. Mighty blow or guard is debatable on the blitzer, I think, as Hilo said. I think that it depends on what level you get these in, right? If he had already gotten this double on the lineman to get guard, I would have taken Mighty Blow on the blitzer. But if you don't have guard anywhere on an elf team and you roll doubles, it's really hard to pass up that guard. So I don't know what order these levels happened in, but if this one happened first, I probably would have done Mighty Blow here. But if this one happened first, then I think guard is probably the right choice because you don't know that your lineman's going to roll guard.
Yep.
I
yep. Agree.
Salty Chips and Angre. You just played him in the World Cup qualifiers, right?
I did. Good coach. It's a tough game.
He is 5-1-2, so this is he has a chance of being second or the wild card pretty easily here.
Yeah, that's a good Dark Elf lineman, plus Agi and Dodge. Agi 5 is always good to have. I don't know if I would have gone Dodge as the next level. I don't actually know what I would have gone. Block is pretty good, makes him a good, yeah.
That is true,
really
Hilo.
Thrower right now.
I guess it depends on whether you're playing the long game or the short game in one way. Like, the Mighty Blow helps you level better, and then you can get guard later, I guess. But my only argument is that guard is so good on elf teams, it changes the way you play, like, pretty dramatically, like even one. I think guard helps you win games, like, even in the long run as well. Like I think it's not as cut and dry. Maybe either one is certainly a good skill, and I don't think it's wrong to take either. So I can't argue really either way. I think in my opinion, I would probably take guard as that first level, but I think it's hard to argue that one way is right or wrong. Anyway, yeah, the Agi lineman is really nice. Block Witch Elf is good because that's suddenly slightly more reliable for those frenzy blitzes.
Yeah, you want to get a quick level on Witch Elves always. He's got the 3 blitzers. Looks like he lost one of them and has changed his naming strategy after we told him that naming all of your players' chip is technically against the rules.
Yeah, it's like it's technically against the rules.
We don't need to get into the mechanics of that.
Yeah.
2 Blodge blitzers are really nice. Wrestle lineman, kick lineman, really standard development. Dodge on the runner is a bit unusual. Some people will get leader, right, like we said, right away.
He already has 3 rerolls though, but you could have taken leader and dropped one if you're really concerned about TV management. But I don't really think you need to be at this level.
Dark elves can get pretty bloaty, so it's something to consider. But the runner, some people will just not like having one around because it's an extra AV7 piece on a team that is largely picked because they have all that AV8 and the early like skill access. So
yeah, Raj is a good option for the Witch Elf. Some people, it depends what you want to do, I guess, right? If you're more focused on the blitzing surfing aspect, block is probably better. If you're more focused on the strip ball sort of like ball hawking aspect, then wrestle is probably better.
You will often go wrestle on the first one because it gives that extra element to the Dark Elf team, which they don't have naturally.
That's true. If you only have one, I think it's debatable. But I would probably go wrestle first if I were playing them. But either way is fine, I think.
Yep. And then next up we have another Nurgle team.
Yeah, Hellraiser Urgle. He is in 7th with 3, 1, and 4.
Nurgle. Oh, he's got 2+ strength.
Oh, okay.
One of them's on a rotter. Discuss.
So that's actually fine. Like, so plus strength in the Pestigore is amazing because now that's strength 5 on the Blitz. He can become an amazing killer. He can become a ball carrier until he becomes a killer. Like, there's a lot that is good about strength 4 here, right? Like, you could even you could take block next and you could ball carrier on him to keep getting levels, and then you get Mighty Blow and you switch over to making him your killer piece and you start carrying on a different Pestigore. Like, strength on Pestigores is amazing. This Niggled warrior is kind of scary, but he has regen, so it's not the worst thing in the world, and they're expensive to replace, and you need a lot of other things as Nurgle first, so it's low on the list of things to spend your money on for now. In fact, high on the list of things to spend your money on for now is a 4th Nurgle warrior because you don't have one. So that's a big priority right now, and you can't afford it. Strength on a rotter is okay.
What about dirty player tentacles on a rotter?
I was going to get to that.
I want to talk about it right now.
Okay. Tentacles is bad on strength 3. Like, it just doesn't help that much. The downside is there isn't really a whole lot of good levels you can take on a rotter after dirty player.
Yeah, they don't really need kick. I mean, you'd consider firing him, to be honest.
I mean, you could take. I probably would take kick, and then if he leveled again, I would just fire him. The downside is with Nurgle and kick is that on defense, you're very likely to only have 3 rotters on the field, and they're all going to be on the line. So kick doesn't really do anything for you.
Right now, he doesn't have that scenario, but later on, he will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
I mean, they also just can't take advantage of it.
Yeah, I would probably take. Well, you can take advantage of it in the fact that, like, if you have enough guard and like you can get into that giant, you kick short and then you just go here, have a bunch of Nurgle warriors, and then people have to make blocks on your foul appearance guard block players and stuff. But you have to have those levels to make that work, and then suddenly that kick becomes useless once you've gotten enough of your positionals. So like I probably would have taken kick instead of that tentacles, and then I would have fired him once you pick up all your Pestigores and stuff.
Yeah, he's also got 3 Pestigores, 2 of which aren't leveled, and he has 2 unleveled Nurgle warriors. I wouldn't have picked up this many Pestigores. Like, Pestigores by themselves are not that good, and you really want to like.
I mean, they are really good in that they're probably the best players in your team, but I mean, they need levels, and they're your Nurgle.
They are marginally better rotters until they have levels. They have 1 more movement and they have horns.
Hey, they don't have decay and they have regen.
Oh, sure, okay, fine, but that doesn't really help. That helps them survive attrition. That doesn't help them win games.
No, they're
generally.
the strength 4 Pestigore is amazing, and he's going to be so good in a few levels. That's amazing. Fire the Agi busted Rotter. Like he's not like, I mean, I guess for now it doesn't matter. You can just leave him on the line and he's going to get hit because he's never going to pick up the ball anyway. So he's on the list of things to replace, but I wouldn't fire him now. The Guard Rotter is awesome because Guard is really good on Nurgle. And we've talked about the Dirty Player Tentacles. Tentacles is just kind of straight up bad on Agi 3. If you keep that Agi 4 or Strength 4 Rotter around, you could take Tentacles on him and have a mini beast, which is kind of funny and actually kind of good, but Strength 5 Tentacles is so much better than 4, and Strength 3 Tentacles is basically useless.
Yeah, the odds of them failing it is quite low.
So I wouldn't have taken
4
Tentacles
rerolls on Nurgle, especially where Nurgle need to buy so many things early, is pretty bad. Like, it's 140k in gold you've invested that could have been another Nurgle.
They're also really expensive, and Nurgle are bloaty anyway, so 4 rerolls is like adding to that bloat without adding a whole lot of value to the team. Like, this is a 1550 Nurgle team, and they don't look like a 1550 Nurgle team. There isn't Mighty Blow or Claw anywhere, and that's because there are 2 strength players and 4 rerolls. So it's more bloaty than it needs to be. The strength 4 on the Rotter is debatable. I think I would have taken it because it's funny, but it's debatable whether that's good or not. Strength 4 on the Pestigore is amazing, and I wouldn't have taken Tentacles on the Rotter, and you can probably drop a reroll to make this a bit better. But
I'd fire Bob the Infirmed, so that's 80k gone. You'd drop a reroll, so that's 150k gone, and you drop the Cheerleader and Coach Assistant, that's 170k. And maybe you consider firing Carl the Sick even, so you go down to 11 players, but you are suddenly way trimmer in TV and in a much better spot to like not give away.
He already has a Dirty Player Rotter. I would fire Bob the Infirmed. That's 80k you don't need on the team.
Yes.
That's absolutely. So there's some trimming you could do here, but this team will be really good. I like Guard on the Beast of Nurgle, by the way. Strength 4 Rotter Pestigore is going to be amazing. So this team has a bit of work coming ahead, but it will be really good. Basically on the back of that Strength 4 Pestigore after a bit of work. Teenage Bottle Rocket, Ryu-Rata. Let's see, where are they? They are 4th. Chaos Dwarf with 5, 1, and 2.
Yep. Standard setup, 2 block Bull Centaurs. One of them's getting break tackle afterwards. The other one probably will as well.
I know all too well how long they take to develop.
1 Mighty Blow, 1 Guard. So slow development on the blockers. Sometimes that's the problem. But other than that, super standard stuff. It looks like Meku has eaten 3 MVPs, unfortunately.
That's rough.
Fuck Hobgoblins, basically. Yeah. I don't know if you need a bench of 13 at this level. I would consider only having a bench of 12 with 1 dirty player.
Yeah, that's a lot of TV for not a whole lot of development.
But yeah, 5, 1, and 2 for an early Chorf record is very good and worth noting. Magic Dome, he's got the level. He's already got the.
That's good because he's probably trying to carry on the Centaurs, and rain makes your life hell if you're trying to carry on.
It looks
Centaurs.
like he's tried to funnel SPP into everyone else, and the MVPs have basically said "fuck you."
Yeah, I really like the skills on this team. Everything is going like he's building a Chaos Dwarf sort of like bog standard, and it's just slower than we'd probably like at this point.
5 MVPs on Hobgoblins will do that to anyone. So.
Yeah, if they went anywhere else, this would be a lot. He'd have more Guard or more Mighty Blow on the Chaos Dwarf blockers. But the Bull Centaurs are looking really good, and these are exactly the skills you want. You just probably want a bit more of them. So all in all, that team's looking really good. It's not likely to make the playoffs, but
I don't think he can.
I think can he not end up in 3rd, or is the Salty Chips going to get a bye or whatever? They get a bye, so I don't think they can end up in 3rd, but that's unfortunate because that's a really good record for early Chaos Dwarfs.
Yep, and then we have Panic at the KO, which is Enditz's Orc team.
4, 2, and 2 in 5th place currently.
He went the Guard Blitzer route, I see. 4 Guard Blitzers, only 1 Black Orc level with block, so he's going to go all block on the Black Orcs. He's gone all Guard on the Blitzers. I usually go, if I'm going to do this setup, I do maybe 2 or 3 Guard and some Mighty Blow first, but he's got the levels up, so he's been doing okay with it.
Yeah, I think 2 Guard and then like 2 Mighty Blow is probably a good option.
Have a bit of killing pressure.
But Orcs, you either go Guard on Black Orcs and then killing skills on Blitzers, or you go Guard on Blitzers and then block on Black Orcs. You need the Guard somewhere. And once you've started taking block on Black Orcs, you have to take it on all of them. So I like this. I might have traded out one of these Guard for a Mighty Blow, but other than that, it looks... not a whole lot to talk about, but it looks good. So there you go.
Doing well.
no cheerleaders or coach assistants to fire, so good job.
The bar is low on that. Santa and his elves with Jufin is another Norse team, 3-1-4, so a bit of a rough early Norse record. He also has a ton of level ups. What the hell?
Well, to punish you for not doing your level ups, we probably won't talk about this a whole lot. Pending level on the Yeti, Mighty Blow, Guard, both good options. Ulf, you want to get Block probably. Berserker, he's going to get Mighty Blow. And then 4 lineman levels. I mean, depends on if you roll doubles or not, because maybe you could get Guard or something out of it. But Tackle is probably what you want to take if you don't roll anything else. Just with the general skills, probably just Tackle is what you get.
I don't know if he's still around, actually.
That's what I said, Hilo. Yeah, Guarded 2, Mighty Blow 2 is probably what I would have done.
And that is the last team, so we are done, Ben.
Is it?
How do you feel?
It
only took us 3 hours and 15 minutes. Yep,
that's fine. I'm excited certainly for playoffs. We've got this week to go through, and then hopefully the teams that we thought will go. For any of you college coaches watching, I am going to try and cast literally as many of the college playoff games as I possibly can. So we'll do our best to try to get a hold of you for the times and stuff for those. But
I'll make a post about it. We're gonna ask that all college coaches ping people and say in the college chat when their games are scheduled, so that we have a record of it outside of the Reddit post, because we're lazy and reading is hard.
I'll try to pay attention to the Reddit posts and stuff, and I'll see if I can make like a Google Calendar or whatever when the matches are scheduled. And we'll probably have a busy couple weeks, but if we can cast all of them, even if we cast some of them from replays.
Well, don't we? I will probably cast none of them, as I am leaving for Japan in less than 2 weeks.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to try to cast as many of them as I possibly can. It's a little less exciting when they're from replays because they're not live. But to be fair, there is only one of me, and I am in a weird time zone, basically. So it's kind of difficult for me to get to both the American games and the European games. Because a lot of the American games tend to happen sort of West Coast time, and I am even farther East Coast than most Americans on the East Coast. And the Europe ones tend to be even kind of late for me. So I'll do my best to get as many of them done as I can. But I will move heaven and earth to make sure that I can cast the finals live at least. So look forward to some playoff coverage. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, it's always a really great time. Last year, the final was Skaven versus Lizards, and it was a really good match.
It's
really
was.
Fun to watch that matchup, because there's a lot of really technical things to talk about, with the Skaven game plan and the how the Lizards can handle it and stuff. So hopefully we have another really cool final, and
so
a lot of really good coaches were produced by that playoff or now in the majors, kicking ass. So.
Yeah, exactly. So get hyped, guys. We'll be doing playoffs in 2 weeks, and likely along with that there'll be minors playoffs. Although I'm playing in those, so it's a little weirder for me, or maybe playing in those. So I'm playing in that league anyway. So it's a little weirder for me to cast those games. But I'll certainly do my best to get as much coverage as I can for REBBRL coming up, going into the playoff season. We've been talking for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Papanasi said. So if we had to say who we think the finalists are, who do we think they are?
Well, I don't want to going back through all the divisions is going to be rough to take a look at.
The people that jump out for me is for finalists. If we're talking about who's going to be game. So the way it works is first is seeded against last. So often you'll have the best coaches the people who are at the top going to the playoffs are the most likely to be at the top in the finals.
That's true.
My money's on I Am True Blue versus the White Dwarf, if I gun to my head. But anything can happen in the playoffs. The number 1 seed for our college division, who had never given up a loss or a touchdown, let alone a loss or a draw, lost in the first round. So
there's a couple teams that I think I would watch out for Tetsuya and the Old World Wardens. I think that's kind of a dark horse pick that people might overlook. He's going to make the playoffs because he has that division locked down, and that undead team I think will be pretty scary at this sort of development level. So I'd watch out for that. Let's see what other teams. True Blue.
My dark horse. To keep it reasonable, you get a dark horse and I get a dark horse. My dark horse is Slarknado. So Merrill on the Discord. He's 2 SPP away from a Storm Vermin level. If that is Claw, suddenly that's a Skaven team that has come online, right? It
Yeah.
has that ability to just delete players once per turn.
Yeah.
So
So
my dark horse pick is Merrill.
I was gonna mention Merrill as well, but if I only get one, I think I'm gonna go
You
with
only
that
get one.
that
Keep it
undead team. So if I have to, and then yeah, like you said, White Dwarf and Press from that division, both are likely finalist options because they're 8-0-1. They've done well in their division. So look for I would say I would be surprised if there wasn't an EUA in the finals, whether it be either Press or White Dwarf. And then the other team you said, True Blue would also likely be at least sort of quarterfinals if not finals. But my dark horse is that undead team, I think.
Word.
They're great early, and that team has developed really well.
Yep.
They've got a lot of good skills and stuff for an undead team this early.
And with that, we'll call it a day because I've got to go eat lunch.
Yeah, I have to go eat dinner actually at some point. Not right now, but I have to go to my parents' place. This is that undead team that I think is the dark horse. Just really
Thanks
quickly.
for joining us, folks. It's been a lot of fun. Like we said, really looking forward to the playoffs, and good luck to all of the people in that and in the postseason punch-up.
If you enjoy the content from myself and Shadorra, I appreciate the support and the watching and stuff. My next stream will likely be Wednesday. Shadorra and I do this sort of style recap, but for Division 9D and 9E in REL, in the major league, as it were, in Rebel. It's a bit shorter, but it's the same sort of style as this. Just only 2 divisions instead of 7. So it goes a lot quicker. We do that every Wednesday. So if you want to hear more of our commentary on that kind of stuff, feel free to come hang out on Wednesday night. And I stream all my Blood Bowl stuff, but I am expecting a really busy week coming up. So I did almost all of my Blood Bowl matches this weekend already. So if you've missed those, there's at least VODs. And this whole thing will go up on YouTube, basically sans any editing. If you've missed parts that you don't care about, you can find me there on Steakmittens as well. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out with us. I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.